remember Michael and Alexa had this friend who was in like the Bacon Brothers band, and he told me this. He was telling us this story at IHOP. It was like New Year's Day, and we were all hungover, and he was telling us this story about how he had like surgery on his like lower spine, but he was like scared of anesthesia, so he told the doctor that he was like a master of meditation and could do it without like the deep anesthesia or without being put under.
Yeah.
And he was in so much pain while they did surgery on him.
The doctor was like, okay, you think?
yeah, they took his word for it. Now that I say it out loud, it sounds like a lie of a story, but maybe it wasn't.
I believe it.
I believe it.
Oh, he was lying to you.
Yeah, he had like a cool story that made him sound dumb.
Was he the guy from Austin?
I don't know. I didn't love all their friends.
Who is this?
Michael Robinette and Alexa Woodward.
We started comedy with him.
Oh,
down in
Greenville.
Greenville.
It's like 15 years ago or something.
Yeah.
I get the two of the OGs tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so one of the comedians, Coble, said that I accidentally told him that we were doing it tonight. And he said he was going to come and just stand in the background.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
That'd be funny if he didn't talk at all.
Yeah. He also said, because the last time I did the podcast, I talk about how much I like Cody a lot. Even my neighbors have been gathering, and we're all friends in the neighborhood now. And I told everybody to watch Cody's thing tonight because they were talking about comedy.
Yeah.
Also, I want to do a neighborhood comedy show.
That'd be great.
You want to do it?
Yeah.
I'd love to.
All right. I'm going to talk to the head of the HOA guy. Anyway, so Coble's like, is how much you like Cody? Is that a bit?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, I sort of asked you the same thing when you were on last time. I was like,
you did think it was a
well,
bit?
I was like, you convinced me. I think that you weren't joking last time you were on, but
because I do a lot.
I've heard you say it a lot of times.
With the comedian people.
That like
you do a lot of bits, but you're also super critical of a lot of comedy that's above average, and you're like, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
And so it's weird that you swing so far. You are.
I don't know. I think the hurricane changed me though.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's great.
I hope so. I'm not saying it did, but
the hurricane
it's permanent.
I hope so. I don't want to be.
Say someone you used to think sucked and thinks is
in the last
good
2 weeks
now.
now you love their work.
Who do I used to think sucked?
No, I'm kidding. I don't want to put you on the spot like that.
I mean, I can, I guess. I feel like I used to suck. Yeah, and I still do.
Yeah, you said that
I could say the milk guy sucked. The guy that drinks milk.
Okay.
Charlotte.
And now if you saw him again, you'd be like,
yeah.
I get
if I
it.
saw him again, I would change my perspective.
It was it was weird going down to Greenville on Monday. You were there.
Yeah.
I was there. We did the open mic at Coffee Underground.
Yeah.
And we had also done a show the Wednesday before in Greenville.
Yeah.
We both got bucket spots. And we did a little bit better, I would say, when everybody was feeling the brunt of the hurricane, even in Greenville. They're like, we get it. We get the dire straits that you were in.
Yeah.
But by Monday, it was hard to like.
forgotten.
They had forgotten, and we were still like.
Yeah, my hurricane joke died.
Yeah, and it's a good joke.
Thank you.
And they're just like.
My Harrison Brookie material killed though.
Justin likes to ruffle feathers. They had the stand-up comedy class performing, or at least in the audience at Coffee Underground on Monday, and Justin lambasted their God King Harrison Brookie, who runs the improv theater down there.
Shout out to Harrison.
Is it another stand-up class taught by an improv person? Is it one of those?
No, he's an improv guy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. That's what we're saying.
But he teaches stand-up?
Oh, no, he doesn't teach stand-up.
Who's teaching the stand-up class?
No, I think, were they doing a stand-up class? I thought they were just doing improv. Maybe he does.
I think I heard the stand-up class was there, and it's interesting when there's a stand-up class in a primarily improv-y from an improv theater.
Yeah, maybe
school.
I can't remember his name to make the joke.
Do we need a table in here? Is that what we need? This is the first Shed podcast. Like, it almost feels like we should have some kind of table.
But Harrison,
I think it's okay.
No, it's fine.
My bit on Harrison was that like he would sell out show. Like, Harrison's an incredible marketer, right? So he like would get like 15. I mean, we'd fill the place up, $15-$20 a ticket. And one time I was like headlining a show. I was doing 20-25 minutes. And then afterwards, he took me out, or he didn't take me out. You know, you hang out with the comics, and he did the whole like, "What are you gonna do with your life?" thing. This is like 10 years ago, and he was like, really like, "What are you gonna do with your life?" Like, real serious with me. And then, but he didn't pay me. So my thought later, I didn't say it at the time because I wasn't that quick, but I thought later, like, maybe if you paid me, I could be a comedian. But yeah, so he's known for not paying comics.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then did you mention it at the show?
Yeah, and everybody agreed. Like
Yeah.
people had felt that way for a long time about him. So maybe you should be like when I say his name.
Yeah, you should definitely pay people. It's bad when you don't.
Yeah, if people
you're
are paying,
paying, yes.
people are paying to see the show,
Yeah, and it's like 40 people in this room,
and they all pay $10.
Yeah, 10 to 50. I think he charges 15.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's $600.
And my thought is, and I could be wrong about this. This could be my projection, but I think he's Christian, and I think he's getting people from mega churches. I think it's like his. I don't think it's maybe his conscious business plan, but I think he's like, I'm going to be a Christian, and I'm going to get Christians to come do improv.
Yeah.
And that's a really great business because Christians, if you know Christians, they kind of have to do things that people ask them to do out of politeness. At least the Christians I grew up with. Like people talk about I think people talk about social anxiety. And I think something that one of the reasons I didn't really have much social anxiety is because hanging out with Christians, I always felt like they have to be nice. You can't be mean if you're a Christian.
Yeah, I'm a socially awkward person, and so that's where all my friends came from in childhood is because they have to be nice to you. And I'm like, I love church.
Yeah.
And they're only there because their moms dropped them off. And it's like, these people have to be my friends.
Yeah.
I can't wait for next Wednesday night.
And they can't get mad. I remember there was this guy who would do this bit. I used to go to Young Life. Y'all know what that is?
Yeah.
So it was a college thing or high school thing?
It's a college thing. It's college kids.
Okay.
And they would come and try to get the high school kids. I don't know how they got allowed into the schools.
Right.
But they would come into the schools during lunchtime and try to get people to go to God. So, and they would actually went on a trip with the Young Life. We went to somewhere, can't remember where it was. It was incredible amounts of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I gave my life to Jesus, but
You've never given
I
your
did
life
once.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
But that was because that was over Kristen Green. Shout out to Kristen Green. But anyway, Young Life, they were there, and this guy would come up and he would do the Christian exterminator at the Young Life thing. So he'd come out and be like, "I'm a Christian," and he'd have this teeth. And the teeth
Oh, they love the teeth.
really nailed the bit for him, right? So he would do the teeth. He would be in character.
Big goofy teeth?
hillbilly.
Big goofy teeth.
Yeah.
He had these bumpy
silly,
teeth.
okay.
Yeah, and he would be like, "I'm the Christian exterminator." I don't remember what it was. But it was
Like in something about Mary, like Matt Dillon's giant fake teeth.
well, it was more about getting people to go to God somehow. I don't know how he worked that in there, but he was like the Christian. He would be a redneck
Okay.
that would somehow make the bit. It was probably masterful, however he did it, because it was like, I don't know how an exterminator is going to get you to go to Jesus, but he that's what he would do. So one time I was like, I stole his teeth before he went out. So the bit was horrible. Like he wasn't in it. He was just like, "Hey guys," and the whole time before the bit, the whole night, he was like, "Where's my teeth?" He was freaking out about his teeth. And I was like, well, I can fuck with this guy because he can't get mad at me because he's Christian.
Uh-huh.
So then afterwards, I was like, "Got your teeth." And he was like, and he wanted to kill me, probably, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was always a fun thing is these people, they just couldn't be mad at you. So I remember this other time we would fuck up the tuning on their guitars before they would go up. And then they couldn't get mad.
And they'd have to be like, "Shucks, we got a couple of
Yeah.
silly guys in here with us."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would the kids stay nice though after their parents dropped? Because their parents just tell them to be nice.
Well, I think I was attracted to people like Justin, where there were
were fucking
with the youth pastor. The kids in my youth group were a little bit irreverent, and they would really needle the youth pastor, and he would get pretty flustered. He would actually get angry occasionally,
Yeah.
because he was new to the church, and we were pretty they were pretty misbehaving type kids, bringing drugs to retreats and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And so he had to like lay down the law, like pretty early on, because like he made he like it's just like it's such a like a gossip engine in the church that he was definitely going to get like in trouble if he like didn't get his act together, and so he had to like yell at us sometimes.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Well, my youth dude did not ever do that.
Yeah.
I think I told you this story maybe once. The reason I quit going to the youth group, this was before Young Life, is the youth pastor Bartley, and he would try to get us to, talk to people and say like, you witness to people. So we'd go downtown and he'd be like, ask them if they like baseball. And they say, yeah, like, you like Jesus? Jesus like baseball. And he would say, like,
you go straight from baseball to Jesus?
Yeah, it was crazy. And then he did this other one where it'd be like, he had this, he'd be like, do you like adultery, sex, violence in your books? And then they'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, then you need to read the Bible.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so anyway, this guy, he was a very kind guy, but a very like goofy guy. And at this point in time, I'm like 8th or 9th grade. I'm like a loot. Nobody likes me at this point in time. But I have some kind of thought that I'm cool. And so I'm at the youth group, and I think I was in 9th grade. And I'm at the youth group in Bartley, and we're playing Heads Never Have I Ever. So Bartley gets in front of everybody, and he's like, never have I ever pooted. And that struck me as like, God, this guy's a loser. That's what I was like, Jesus. So he says that. And then
he's never pooted.
This is
okay.
This is the point of the story. So next up, after we've played Never Have I Ever, he goes up, and his wife is like next to him, holding him, and he's like very sorrowful, like he had like, I don't know, he committed a sin, like he committed adultery or something. And I guess he did commit a sin. So he goes in front of everybody, and he's like, I have something that I want to tell you all right now. Please gather. And he's like, I just want you to know that I lied to you all in church in front of God. I have in fact pooted. And like, and his wife is like, consoling him, like patting him. And like the people in the youth group, like I'm looking around like, please, someone understand that this is insane.
Yeah.
And no one is. They're actually like empathizing with him. It's like, it's okay, Bartley. We love you. And he's like, thank you. I don't deserve this, but thank you. And I was like, okay, I can't keep going back here.
Yeah.
So like my mom would like, I always felt really peaceful and safe in graveyards for some reason. So my mom would like drop me off, and I would just go to the graveyard and sit there, and then she'd pick me back up.
How old are you at the graveyard alone?
I think like 14.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so it was like it was a weird.
So you went to the graveyard to
not go to the church.
Oh, to not.
Yeah, because like my mom would like expect me to go, and it was like I can't. And it was just that I felt like I was too cool. Like even though nobody liked me in my school,
yeah,
I felt like I can't. Like this is gonna fuck up my, I don't use this word at the time, but like swagger or something by being around these people.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were like so uncool.
Uncool and very earnest. Yeah. And earnestness is cool, but
it is really cool.
Not in that capacity, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like a sweet moment, but when you're a kid and you're trying to have
you're trying to have swagger,
yeah,
and you can't really justify having swagger if you're like, on first name basis with the church kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Justin, and you're like, stop talking to me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to impress Kristen Green.
Yeah, Kristen Green. Yeah.
This is like at school in front of the other kids that aren't the church kids?
Well, it's kind of like maybe it's an energy that like would affect you when you would go to school. Like they could kind of maybe smell it on you.
Like if you became like that, then you wouldn't be accepted by the real cool people.
Yeah. Not that they would ever accept me, but just the thought that they would. I couldn't be around those people, They should make Inside Out 3 about that.
They should make Inside Out 3 about that. What'd you think about Inside Out 2?
I loved it.
Yeah.
You think it was good?
No.
You didn't like it?
It was okay.
I thought it was fantastic. It really teaches you how to like master being a human, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Inside Out too.
I was moved by it in the theater, but I was there with my kids,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
Would it really resonate with your older daughter?
Yeah, like she's the one that really liked it. Yeah,
Yeah.
because she's like more like Riley's age and the anxiety. I think they both liked it a lot, so I can feel it all coming off them. But if I was just like not a dad, I don't know. If I would, you know.
Are you questioning why? I
No,
saw
I mean a lot of people like it. I think it's better to like it, but
No, we both saw it. We don't have kids.
but I've also enjoyed like Frozen 2 in the theater. Like I wouldn't be there doing that.
No, they make kids movies good somehow. First, I don't know. That's why, like, I don't know, kids cartoons have such like a long shelf life. Like, why our generation sort of still likes SpongeBob.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like a little embarrassing, sort of, if you like zoom out on it. But it's still like a lot of gags, a lot of jokes that land, a lot of
Even
sorta
like I loved Rugrats. I don't know if y'all remember
weird
that.
stuff.
I haven't watched it in obviously a long time, but
Yeah.
I thought that was like a show that I might be able to watch now. I think
Yeah,
it's good.
probably.
Yeah.
Pete holds up.
Pete and Pete. Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I think I got the level set right.
All right, start over.
So you guys consider yourselves Christians now?
No.
You don't have to answer that if you don't want to, but
Cody can.
because didn't you have a band called like the True Christians?
Yeah,
or
I did.
something?
It was trying to make Christian music good. That was my mind. My mind when I thought it was a good idea.
But
I
you were
was like,
doing that as someone that didn't identify as a Christian?
Yes. Because I thought, what if you made... And honestly, it was kind of an idiot, lackful viewpoint that I came up with the album, is that I thought, like, I could make Christians... Like, hey, this is a Christian band. So I thought Christians... It was kind of like ripping off Creed.
Yeah.
You know, like, if Christian... I just felt people would like it because, oh, this is Christian. So then I tried to make Christian songs that were, in my opinion, good songs.
Yeah. You're like, since you're not a Christian, you're not burdened by it, you could maybe be in a position to write a better Christian song
Yeah.
than an actual Christian.
Exactly. Like I got the song. Shout out to Sam Severin.
Yeah.
You know
I
Sam
wanna-
Severin?
I wanna marry you,
Great
Sam
comedian
Severin.
from Atlanta.
No.
I wrote a song about want to marry. You can play it right now in the thing.
Yeah, put a
I
drop
want to
in.
marry you, Sam Severin.
Is it on streaming?
Yeah,
It's on Bandcamp.
By the
it's,
real True Christians?
Yeah, by the True Christians. The song's like I want to marry you. It's like kind of it's like a white funk song about wanting to marry her in every place on every day. Yeah,
Very wholesome.
very
Is it-
wholesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a wholesome, getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to re-listen to that album, I think. Have
Yeah.
you listened to it?
I don't think I have. I should.
Yeah. And there's a song called Angel Team that's really good on there.
I mean, I'm kind of remembering back to when I first met you. I mean, this was like 10 years ago that
Yeah.
I think, like, you still do? Is the True Christians still active?
No, the people that were in the band broke up.
Okay. So I'm just
So
kinda
like
remembering-
Scotty Leach.
I know I
and-
listened to it like 9 years ago or something.
Yeah,
A
and
little.
Abby, I can't remember Abby's last name. They were together, and they lived in Philly. And I'd actually, because I was on tour with my with Elvis Presley, I was like selling the merch, and then I met Scotty, and we made a song together that night. And then he's like, "Come back up, we'll make a whole album." So we made a whole album, and yeah, they were kind of because I think I'm a horrible singer. I don't know how to sing, so I had Scotty and Abby sing half the album, and I sang half the album because I don't have confidence in my voice. So it was fun though. I mean, I think it's a fun album. There's some pretty good songs on there.
Yeah. Have you heard it, Cody?
I had not in a while.
Cody
but
liked it when it came out.
I played one of Justin's spoken word albums the other day.
Oh, that was embarrassing.
To make him Justin was in a bad headspace, and I go, I think I know something that'd make you feel better.
That was really
and
funny.
then I put on his spoken word album.
Yeah.
And it was very funny.
It was funny, yeah. It was like this thing. I was in a weird space, and he played. I have this song. I made this album where I was kind of in a weird space when I made the album, and it was like a song. It was like the heart says yes. The heart says yes, and he played that, and it was hilarious. And then he played this other one I had called like Transcending Cancer. So he played these like spoken word tracks that I made that are pretty embarrassing.
When was what year did you record
It
the?
was like 2013.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
embarrassed by it?
Yeah. I also was embarrassed by the other album I made Unlearning White America, some of it.
Yeah.
A friend of mine listened to it and was like, oh, this is like the Ben Shapiro liberal version of the Tom McDonald song. Did y'all hear that song? Ben Shapiro made a rap song with Tom McDonald. And I listened to it again and I was like, he's kind of right. And I thought it was really good at the time.
Yeah.
But then it's just heavy-handed.
And now I listen
Is that
to
bad? I mean, like, to be, if you're embarrassed by something, does that mean you should not have done it? Or
No, I mean, I think it's fair. I think, you're going to be, I think, like, as you grow, you're going to, like, see things that you did and like, ugh.
Yeah.
Or, like, even, like, bits that you made and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Some of it's good, though, right? You look back at some of it's, you're like,
Yeah,
that was good. I want to do more like that.
Yeah.
And then others, you're like, that was
I like the True
embarrassing.
Christians album a lot.
Yeah.
I still listen to it. I think it's good for the most part.
Yeah, did it have, like, is it a little bit like Brian Jonestown Massacre vibe? That's a band I like a lot.
I
think-
really like Brian Jonestown Massacre, but I don't know. It's I tried to make a my mind is set was trying to make some version of each song like a hit, like an indie hit, a hip hop hit, a funk hit, a Christian hit. So I was trying to genre bend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any albums that you're embarrassed of? You release an album every year, right, on your birthday?
I do. I don't know that I am embarrassed by any of it. I know that when in my 20s I did a lot of yelling, and I just don't. That's probably the most embarrassing. It's just very negative.
Okay.
It's like just like yelling and complaining about like relationships. Now I'm like, that's really not what I'm trying to say into a microphone.
Yeah.
I was drunk and like trying to yell, So
Yeah, no, I hear that.
And I remember like being in the room. I was like going through like a divorce, and I was like, at the time, it was like, I'm like getting up and I'm like yelling, and now I'm just like, man, that's kind of embarrassing. Like to publicly be like trying to yell all that at people that came out to a show.
Did it feel good at the time?
Yeah, I mean, when it was good, it did. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Not
that
always.
makes sense. I mean, I think that's how I kind of feel about that.
It was cathartic, I think.
That album that I made.
Yeah.
Like I just got back from this Costa Rica where I was staying with this woman, and we had broken up, and I was in like a like a transitional place. And I was actually staying with my friend, and I just made this like spoken word album that's embarrassing, but at the time I think it made me feel.
Are you alone? Are you in front of an audience, or you just
when I made the album?
Yeah, it
was just me and him.
Yeah,
it was Ian Morris.
He's just like sitting there, and you're just like
he made
talking into a microphone.
Yeah, and I'm just like singing into the tracks, or spoken word in the tracks.
Yeah,
the chorus on one of the songs that we listened to was really great that Ian did. I thought, and transcending the chorus was really good.
Yeah, I think it's okay to do embarrassing stuff, but I think like, I don't know. When I look back and it seems totally self-absorbed, that's when I go like, all right, at this point in my life, I don't need to be doing like totally self-absorbed stuff,
Yeah.
But I had to do some of that to get to that. Like that's what I like about comedy is they let you know you can't just get up and just make it about you, or they don't laugh.
Yeah.
So you do kind of have to recalibrate to try to make other people enjoy it.
Totally. Yeah, I think that is a great thing about comedy. Trying to kind of that it's like a co-creation with the audience.
Yeah,
they're like critiquing your work immediately.
Yeah.
I've been cleaning out my stuff from my parents' basement this week because of the flooding, and so I've been going through all my stuff that I made when I was an art major, and it's all very bad.
Why do you think it's bad?
Well, I didn't know what making art was about. I didn't know like what the people who were good at it were doing that I wasn't doing. I don't think I ever felt that way with comedy. Well,
I feel like you've always been amazing at comedy.
Yeah, you said that on the podcast last time.
I remember the first time I saw him, I was like, oh, this guy's incredible. And then he's kept. I think Cody, and maybe this is my, projection, because I love Cody a lot. Maybe I'm building him up more than it is. But I remember at points in time, like every week he would have like a new 5-minute bit that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that? there were times where it's
I mean,
just
I
like-
wasn't there for like the first. I remember it did kind of fuck me up last time you were on, and you said that. I was like, oh, Cody, in my mind, somebody is very weird, and through like hard work and perseverance, got funny. That's just what I made up for the first 5 years.
no, he was
and
always
you were
good.
like, no, it was good the whole time. I was like, well, that.
From the first time I saw
But then
him,
I
it
told
was really
Cody that
funny.
you said that, and he was like, Justin just likes weird, bad stuff, so he can't really trust it.
It's okay to, I don't know, but like comedy's more.
Not that everything you like is weird and bad, but you're kind of like, you're into outsider art. Like you have a taste for like weird shit.
Yeah.
I think if you're weird and bad, I think that's better than being normal and good. It's more worthwhile.
Stands out.
Yeah.
It stands out, and then like I can get my little laurels from weird guys.
But I still remember but
It's original. It's original.
I still remember his bits. The duck duck hunt bit.
Duck. That's a good bit.
That's
That
a
was
good
Can
bit.
you do one of them?
It was like
can you do one of them?
Oh, you don't have to, but
I mean, I could.
I know you're one of the only people I know that will cover people's jokes, which I like. Sometimes you'll be
Do
like,
I cover people's jokes?
well, sometimes you'll be like, oh, this is like a Chris Weathers joke one time, and you like did the joke, but you said it was his, but you like did a cover of it, and there's
On
been
stage?
yeah, and there's been a few times we've been at mics, and like it'll be a really like there's one time at Baby George's mic where it's so bad we all just started doing that.
Okay, yeah.
And I think it's a fun thing. It's a fine thing.
Well, I did actually. This is pretty funny. So we had a comedy competition, and I acted like a nutcase.
Yeah.
Because me and Cody got voted out.
Yeah.
So I thought that we were sort of like a sting operation set on me and Cody to get us out by the other comedians. And I had gone up to each comedian before. It's like, hey, I won't vote for you. You don't vote for me, kind of thing. So they voted me and Cody out, and I got upset, and then I turned it into a bit that I was laughing about, but I also was upset about it at the same time.
Well, I think what's nice about that bit is like so many. I don't believe in being a good sport. It's
Yeah.
like funny to not be a good sport.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with all these like grateful to be here losers.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
The
that our
Christians from
scene
earlier.
is full of now for some reason, because no one's mean anymore.
Yeah, so I was like mean, and it like I was like, did you see the things I was saying? I was like the Kava Bar show is no more because of you, and I was like, what's the guy's name that runs the Charlie?
The Charlie Grinzer thing was so funny.
And I
when
was
you
like-
said he was thinking about opening a comedy club here, and you convinced him not to because
Yeah.
of the.
And I was like, and I regretted that, but I don't anymore. And I was just acting insane. So then I did Hillary's. I was supposed to headline Hillary's Shakey's show, and it was I love Hillary. She's great, but it was the audience wasn't. There was hardly any audience there. It was just the comedians. So I go up and I start doing the bit again about like how like. Here I am. I was like trying to be Lenny Bruce after like the
Getting arrested.
trials.
Yeah, after the trials.
I'm like, here we are. How can I do comedy when I do these jokes and I don't win? And I was like going on, and then I started maybe saying negative things about comedians in the comedy thing.
Yeah.
And Alana, who's a very sweet person, has she been on this?
No.
Yeah.
I like to have her on.
Alana's
We've
great.
been talking about it.
Alana looked at me and was just kind of like, Justin, you're being really weird, and you're like scaring me. And I was like, oh shit, I'm being insane. So then and all the comedians were just like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And it
You're
wasn't
scaring me.
It wasn't funny.
Oh,
It was just,
so fuck. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah, it was insane. So I was just being a mad person. And then I was like, what can I do here? I was like, I'll tell a Chris Weathers joke. So then I did rip off Chris Weathers. I just want to acknowledge that.
I think
and I
it's-
did his suicide joke because I think it's a great joke.
That's the one that I heard.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's ripping off. I think if you say it's
Well, I
by
didn't
the
say it.
Okay, that's ripping off.
I was just like, what do I do here? And then I just went into a Chris Weathers joke.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm being crazy. How can I save this moment?
Yeah.
But I think one of the ways to, I don't know, save. One of the ways to watch, one of the helpful ways to watch comedy is to like watch the show rather than the comedian. If it's like one of those weird nights where there's no one there,
Yeah.
or the audience isn't vibing, then it's very and then the comedian's doing stuff on purpose. As long as you're like doing stuff on purpose, then it's still a show.
Yeah.
And so like you can always like if it's not like fun to be in the audience, then you can just like take a step back and like watch it not being fun, and then that's fun. I
Exactly.
think.
It's fun for me.
Yeah.
But I don't know how fun it is for the
You're
audience.
watching a new show that's the audience and the performer.
Right.
Yeah. The weird thing was
And
is
the
this
weird
guy
tension
came
between
up.
them.
There's like 3 audience members. One of the audience members came up to me afterwards, like, "That was really good, man." And it wasn't. It was horrible. And he's like, "Can I follow you on Instagram?" And I was like, "Yeah."
No.
But it was like really weird that he enjoyed it. So it like really
Yeah.
It's confused me for a moment.
It's like the one person that liked it a lot really liked it a lot. It's almost like what you're saying about how it's better to be bad and weird because it's like original, like it stands out.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
Like
it's-
everybody's like medium good, and then there's just something that's so fucking just crazy that you're still like you're not gonna forget it. You know?
Right.
yeah,
It's like
maybe
a-
that was it. I was being insane.
Yeah, it's good to be like watchable, even if you're not like.
It's like Leah Garth, like you know,
Oh, Leah's
when
great.
it doesn't click, or when it's not like the crowd doesn't get it, it's still like they're not gonna forget.
Yeah.
It's something to behold, something you've never seen before.
Yeah, I think
You know?
I don't know if I
Like-
said this last time. I don't know if we talked about Leah, but I've always wanted to follow her and do like have her do a special
Yeah,
and have like film like what 40 sets and then put 10 of them or
Yeah.
8 of them
Oh, yeah.
into something.
yeah,
And I think it would be phenomenal.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. I've fantasized like this is a very low overhead. I can just throw this up, but like if I had more time, I would love to do like a short 10-minute documentary about Leah or something kind of like that, where it's a person that like they're not ever going to do that for themselves. But if you could somehow, make a point to follow her around for 3 months,
Yeah.
get good footage of her, talk to her in between. You could make some piece of art that would be fucking phenomenal.
Oh,
I
you
mean
could.
same with you guys. It's like, but it's hard to be the crazy artist and do that yourself.
Oh, it
That's
is.
just like too much.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have a lot of things going on, but I fantasize about doing that kind of stuff too. Like
Yeah.
4 people, be like, here's Leah Garth, the world, and you could make it this amazing
Yeah.
little doco.
Yeah, it would be great.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start the problem with that, and I think that is a good idea, is that like as soon as you start thinking about stuff like that, then the overhead, it's not a low overhead anymore. And what's nice about comedy is it's the lowest overhead.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a mic. It's a mic and a mic stand and a stool, and that's very cheap. And then and then I'm gonna buy the nicest camera, which is like it's a weird impulse. I have my own opinions about that, but like, if you want to be like a guy who makes stuff in service of the scene or even just your own comedy, the price really ratchets up.
I want to
pretty
do
quick.
both those things, but I'm starting with this.
You're starting
but I
with
still
this.
think like I've gotten to where I can make the reels fast. That maybe in a few more years it could be like I envision a scene where you just have 2. They don't have to be the nicest cameras. Like one more of those, and 2 people are kind of holding them on each side of the comedian. So you have 2 cuts, just 2 camera, and then you have sound off the board.
Yeah.
Like we need to figure out how to get sound off the board at the music hall.
Yeah.
So you get a good clear mic, input, and then some like laugh mics. Like, I don't know. I think maybe in a few years it could be done. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what Helen and Mario were trying to do was really great.
Yeah.
When they were taking clips.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah.
And just sort of showcasing the scene.
It was great,
Yeah.
great when they were running shows. That was like the most promising. It was like the duo of them running shows.
Yeah.
It was
No,
like,
those
uh-oh,
were-
look
those-
out. And
those were
then
great
Mario's like,
shows.
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were great shows.
Yeah.
They were great shows.
Yeah, you just have to have people who believe in the scene,
Yeah.
and there's not that many people who are doing it for other than themselves. And this is something I talk about, is that you do have to participate in the scene in a way that is bigger than you, and you do that, and you do that, and I used to do that.
You do that.
I
You do that.
try.
You do that.
You've always done that more than me.
I mean, I ran the joke writing workshop,
that was
and people
fun.
still run it, which is nice.
Yeah.
And Becca started it. But I do think I'm a little more generous with people who put in a little effort for things outside of themselves.
Infrastructure is like the roads or whatever. Like we're all trying to be on different shows in different rooms and get shit online. Like if you're providing that infrastructure, like if you run a show and set up chairs, you can be a pretty big asshole, and I will still probably be into you and try to help you out, because people that support infrastructure. Very
Yeah.
important, because most people are just like, why am I not on more shows?
That is
And
what
they're
most
not
people
setting
are,
up chairs. They're
myself
not doing-
included.
Yeah. I mean, I've been that way, and that's why that 20s rock and roll that I made embarrasses me, because that's the character doing that. It's just
Yeah.
like me. That's what I hear. That's why it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get more
Do you
community minded.
Do you think of yourself as a character?
A character?
We're characters. Do you
No.
ever like think of Ryan Cox in quotation marks?
No, but I would like to be more of that. I think you guys do a great job of that. Where like when I step on stage, it is an exaggerated version. Like I'm starting to say some things that are not true because it's like just to make it a little funnier. You know, it's mostly true.
Do you I don't think I'm a character.
I know you don't think that.
You scan as a character for sure. I mean, you got the wild card factor. I think.
No,
Yeah.
but you
I
are
think
like
both
this
of
all
you-
the time. That's
Yeah.
true.
I am
like
what?
you are this all
Yeah.
the time, so it is hard.
Well,
to,
he's
like,
method. He's like
sign
he
it
goes
off
all
as
the way with
character.
his character. You know.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
No, I definitely think that I definitely think that I have this sort of like sort of insane aspect of me that like gets really excited about comedy and just being the comedy. Like I think I like to have fun, and I think when I think, oh, I'm on a comedy show, I'm like, let's be insane and let's have fun.
Yeah.
And I can take it too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that I'm learning how to like call myself out on that. But I do think bits are like really fun to do, and I think I get into like a bit mindset.
Yeah.
Where I'm like sometimes don't know if like I'm blending. Do I know that I'm doing a bit here?
I think it's good for the scene though to have some people like that. Like I think you want some people that do take it too far sometimes, and then you want some people that just do short one-liners. And like a scene is stronger when there's a lot of different, types.
I agree with that. I think we do have like a
And we kind of correct
variety
ourselves.
scene.
If you get a little too far out there, maybe Alana's like, "Hey, you're scaring me," and you can hear it. It's like
Yeah.
it's a self-correcting system.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's great because I think that that's what's fun about Asheville comedy. Where I think like even Mario told me this when he was in I think he's in Baltimore or somewhere out there. He was saying that they're all the same comedians.
Yeah.
They're like very like sort of like maybe Kill Tony-esque
Yeah.
kind of thing going on.
Shock,
And they're
Yeah.
all doing the same thing. So he, Mario's a really good comedian. And he was out there doing his bits that are really good. And they were like, wow, this is good. Because like they're just doing these same kind of stuff. And I think Comedy Zone kind of does that. Like you can go to like Charlotte and people that take the Comedy Zone classes, they're kind of like the same comedian. And I think it's great about Asheville is there's like all these kind of different
pockets.
pockets of comedy.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I regret not saying on Monday night to the people who are in the stand-up class is like, listen to all these listen to the jokes that are working tonight.
Yeah.
Are they anything like the thing you're being taught currently?
Yeah.
And they're not. Like what actually is funny and what like gets a good audience going, like what really touches a good audience is like not something that can be taught. It's just something that you got to like, I don't know, put a lot of time into. And when people give you like a format and to do it in, it's not going to be good. And you're going to be like thrown off for like years by trying to remember what Harrison told you.
Exactly. That's so true. Because you're trying to fit. What's funny about comedy, like what's funny about Leah is she's herself. She's doing whatever she's doing. Nobody would like, go, Leah, that's great. Some kind of teacher, they'd be like, you did this wrong and this wrong.
Yeah.
Try writing a setup and then write 10 punchlines. And
It's like
pick
that
your
guy,
best-
the comedian that'll remain nameless that beat me up that one time. He was like,
Well, we can name Harrison, but we can't mention.
he beat me up. I don't want to get beat up again.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of Harrison that way. No disrespect to Harrison. But yeah, he came up to me after a show and he was like, you did this wrong and you did that wrong. Like all these kind of comedy things that you're supposed to do. And I think that can work if you really want it to, I guess. People will laugh.
Probably works a little bit better at Comedy Zone.
Yeah.
But even like the people who are headlining Comedy Zone have transcended that in some sort of way.
Yes.
Or half of the people or a third of the people
Yes,
who
totally.
headline Comedy
Yeah.
Zone
Like I actually
are
won,
good comics.
and you said you did too. One time I won a Comedy Zone competition in Charlotte. It's like an amateur competition.
Goldsboro for me.
Oh, Goldsboro. Oh, yeah. Well, I did Charlotte. So I have that over Cody. So anyway, I got invited to do like the professional comedy thing, and I went up against this guy. I don't remember. I think Eric the Asian.
Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah. His whole bit was, and I'm trying to put the guy down, but I guess I am. His bit was like, I'm Asian. This is what I remember. I could be wrong.
Eric Shun.
Eric Shun.
Erection.
I'm Asian. His like bit was like, I'm Asian. I eat dogs. I'm Asian. I have a small dick. I'm Asian. I sell noodles.
Yeah.
and it was like it was like this packed room. If you've been in the Comedy Zone, it was like packed, and people are fucking dying laughing, like out of their mind laughing. And then I go up, and I'm like, I'm fucked, and then I just bombed because like this, like some people love that kind of just
Do you think you'd bomb now?
No,
Right.
I would still bomb, but I would bomb in a better way. Like I would.
They'd still like that guy more than you.
100%.
But you'd be happy. You'd be happier with yourself.
Yes, I wouldn't have been like, because like I was like taken aback. Like, what do I do? Like, I didn't have an energy of like, let's use this. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bomb. Yeah, because he's fucking killing it. With
and I think that's necessary to have those times too, where you don't have enough insight or experience to make the right call, but then later you can look at that and be like, all right, I'm ready for that next time.
Yeah,
I know to stick to my plan or just be me instead of being like totally shook by it.
Yeah, and I remember this woman that really liked me a lot. She was like telling the people that run Comedy Zone how funny I was before the show. Like Joel Pace, the guy that was like the runner, like, he's the funniest guy. And then he came up afterwards. He's like, your last per minute sucked. And he like just shitted on my set. Like, you didn't start with your funniest bit. You did this. Da, 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 da. Yeah, it was just kind of. But it's like that feels like mechanical.
Yeah, well, that's not the way you do it, for sure. I mean, but it's still kind of interesting to hear it, so as long as you can run it through the filter in your mind of like, well, I don't have to do any of this. But this is a person that like works in the industry and does, like, who was it saying recently, like, we should get a comedy club in Asheville because we are so alt that like we're not going to lose that.
That's me.
But yeah,
I probably said that.
If we had a club, a mainstream room, like it would elevate all of us because it would just make there'd be that kind of vibe you're talking about. But then there'd also still be the odd, and there'd still be these weirder rooms, and we could learn to kind of play in these different.
Well, I feel like that's
places.
kind of what Pulp is a little bit. I think or at least the people that
Pulp feels like
to Pulp.
Yeah,
right. There's been effort put into the show.
He's got the
But you
orange
can still
peel.
be a
Shout
little-
out to Michelle.
Yeah, shout out to Michelle. You can still be a little weird because it's Asheville, but there's a more sort of, I probably should start with my best joke.
Yeah.
And it's important to do shows where you have to be mechanical, and that's like a big part of it.
It is, yeah.
Especially if you want to get paid to do comedy, you have to like know that you're going to do good.
Yeah,
when
you have
go
to
up.
make them laugh.
You have to have some sort of strategy. But on the other hand, and I've probably talked about this on every episode that I've been on, is that you have to have those shows that are free and that you get to be weird at, like Kava Bar.
Yeah,
Should be doing free. Yeah, there should be more
Shout
free
out to
shows.
Sovereign Kava, yeah.
Shout out to Sovereign Kava. Get well soon.
and like where you're at is like after you filmed your special, that's probably like the week after that you weren't like opening with your strongest joke. You were kind of like, I've done this.
No, I think that's
big thing, so I'm just gonna have weird sets.
No, I wish.
Ooh, you did that at Sovereign Kava.
I do it at Sovereign Kava.
You did. I remember
it's
you
a
did like, I
blessing.
think I had you headline.
Yeah.
And you did like none of those jokes.
Yeah.
You just like riffed for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
That was awesome.
yeah. That's
and
great.
you riffed for like 40 minutes.
That was so much fun to get to
Yeah.
go that long and do nothing that really was like a thing I'd worked on. That I like Burger Bar for that reason too. It's like I'm not gonna do jokes here that I know might work other places. Like a chaotic room that's like so nice, and then you record that whole 40 minutes, and then you listen back, and you can maybe squeeze out like a tight 5 or 10 from it.
Yeah.
But you could just like a safe place to barf it all out.
Yeah. No, those places are awesome. I mean, that's
Root
kind of
Bar
what,
too. I mean,
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Root Bar.
Yeah.
Has Root Bar done?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's
It's a little totaled.
just destroyed. But that
Damn.
was a great place for
Oh, that
that
was a
too,
great
where it's
place.
like, if you wanted to, it might just be comics.
Is
but
Root Bar Swananoa?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Damn. Yeah, that was a great place to do comedy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like what we're saying, not like open with your best joke.
Yeah, yeah.
No pressure whatsoever to do that at Root Bar.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's what I'm because I feel like I've sucked at comedy for a while recently, and I think it's because I'm trying to find my new. Like I think I'm good at I've done the punchline.
You got to destroy. You got to do the Bob Dylan thing where you
I've gotten
destroy
that
the
down.
Justin of the last few years and make it better.
And now I'm trying to figure out how can I be more like Cody,
Yeah.
where I can like kind of just feel like I'm talking to you, versus like. Talking to you, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like talking to you authentically versus maybe talking to you behind a joke. Like kind of slipping the jokes in there versus like, you know what's. I don't know. That's kind of how I feel. I could be wrong though.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I did that a little bit on Monday.
There's like the authentic you in real life, and then there's like the stage you, and maybe like as the farther you go, maybe the more you dissolve the boundary between those two. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like kind of just talking about situations and learning how to make them funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I kind of did. I listened back to my Harrison Brookie set. It wasn't really funny. I guess that one part was kind of funny, but I guess I did get laughs, but I think it was more my energy of saying things in a way that got laughs versus maybe what I was saying, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think that still is just as valid. It's like the way like Mitch Hedberg, I mean, I think they're good poems, but the way he says it is so much of it.
Yeah,
too.
it's kind of like shout out to Have you had Mackenzie on here?
No, she's checking it out. I'm trying to get. She's supposed to be on this month with Ben at the music hall. I had him scheduled for a Wednesday.
Ben Gibson, Ben Jennings.
Ben Jennings.
Okay.
But I don't know if it'll be open in a couple weeks.
Yeah, Mackenzie's hilarious.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. She's very
so
shy.
good.
Like she's a lot of people are scared of doing this.
Yeah.
But then they get on and they like loosen up after 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, so I know it would be good, but I would love to talk to her. I mean, she's amazing. She's like one of those, like what you're saying, just total original.
Yeah, gets it.
Yeah, I feel like I would put her and Cody on the tier of comedians.
Nice.
In our
Happy to be there.
In our like little world.
Yeah.
And not the other comedians aren't good.
Yeah.
You know, like
Just
I went
really
and saw
unique.
Salada's set. Salada had like 30 minutes? 25 minutes?
Yeah.
And she was great.
Yeah. Zalada's awesome.
Zalada's hilarious.
Yeah.
She did really well. There's like a lot of really funny people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that Chris Freeland.
Yeah.
Chris Freeland's very funny.
He was very funny.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good. Chris and Zalada, when I met her, and then Jazz,
Jazz
they
is great.
defeated us at the comedy.
Damn, y'all lost.
At the One World
I
Brew
remember
in
that.
West
I can't believe
Asheville.
y'all lost.
But we lost. They were
I
great.
can't believe
though.
Helen and Mario didn't put me on that. I would've won.
I know we
I
could.
wouldn't lose to Greenville.
But yeah, I mean, you are Greenville though. So.
That's true.
I mean, you single-handedly
founded Greenville Comedy.
Yeah.
I founded Greenville Town. We co-founded with Nick Shaheen. Yeah. That's my bit when I go to Greenville, I say.
And it's true. That's what's good about Justin is he does bits that are true, but they're bits.
Yeah. I said, shouldn't be Alchemy Comedy Theater. It should be Justin Blackburn Comedy Theater. And it's in this sort of like aggressive, I believe that what I'm saying kind of energy.
Yeah, I don't know. When I see you working on new stuff with the notepad, it feels pretty like it doesn't feel like you've memorized the words. I think you guys are kind of similar in that way, and that's the direction I've been trying to move in the last few years. Like at Mike's, you just have like a word, and you really try to like find it on stage, versus like when you start out or when I started out, it's like you almost try to memorize the sentences.
Yeah, I think I used to be way better at that because I was less self-aware of that I sucked. Like I had maybe a sense of delusion.
Oh yeah, that can be helpful.
Yeah, I was like very delusional. Or self-delusional. So I would like just have like a word, and then I would go up and I would try to channel something from the word, and I felt like I was good at it, and I felt like I was getting laughs. I probably sucked, but I felt like I was good. And as I've gotten older, I like do it, and I'm like, that was bad. Like that wasn't good.
That's been a tough thing about doing comedy longer. Is like, I'm not getting worse. I just didn't know I was bad back then.
Exactly.
I don't think I'm getting worse. I just there was just a confidence and like a belief in like building tension. It was the same thing as doing good. And I built a lot of tension.
Yes.
And I was good at it. And I'm still good at it. But now I know.
But I thought you always had jokes.
Thank you. Thank you.
I would just channel some kind of weird.
But in terms of like that finding it on stage thing, is that is a skill that you don't have immediately, and I've gotten better at it because you just stick with it longer. I think it used to be is like I'm going to try to find it on stage, and then you don't, and you don't. You won't. I won't. I used to, I don't know what I'm saying because I did used to dig myself into holes, but in terms of like, I don't know, having an idea and like fleshing it out, I'm much better at it now. Because
I feel like I'm worse
hang
at
out there.
Yeah.
What does that mean, fleshing it out? Does that mean just like thinking about it before, or fleshing it out on the stage, Where does the fleshing
I've been
out?
thinking of it visually, and I don't know if it makes sense, but when you like spin your wheels out in your car on purpose, I'll do a bit that I sort of know the beats to, and then I'll just get stuck in the middle on purpose and just like until I say something that's like funny that I couldn't come up with if I had sat down and written it.
Yes, I think there is a thing. I remember one time, me and Cody, I did a bit about how white people have ruined porn because they've made it about having sex, incest. And then I did this bit. I don't know. I came up with just stuff on the fly, and it was great. And then Cody was like, "Good set." And I was like, "Great set." And then he was like, "No, it wasn't great. It was good." And I was like, "No, it was the set of the night." And we had like an argument. But what I was saying was that it felt like that to me because it feels so good. I think when you're able to kind of find that on stage, I think there's like a magic to that, and like the audience can feel that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. When you just kind of come up with it and you're just flowing it, and I think that's what I'm kind of searching for to get better at, like being able to. And I did that night. I probably didn't even do that well. I don't remember.
No, it was a great set.
Thank you.
Set of the night.
I mean, the present
correctly.
moment. Like how much do you make the present moment part of your performance?
Yeah, I think
that's kind of what I hear you saying. Like it's not enough to just like get the jokes right and just do them night after night. Like you got to have some like finding thing. Like the audience can sense when you found it with them in that moment. There's something they can tell.
And then the next audience can tell when you're trying to force the same moment from the night before.
Yeah, like you said you did recently.
Yeah, I do that a lot I do it a lot.
Well, that's kind of the whole nature of it, right? Is like you eventually you're trying to get the bits that continue to work. So so you are like trying to always do that to some degree, right? Like like is this going to be one that's still funny in 6 months? Like that'd be nice, or can it keep growing?
I think what I used to do that I think I was way better at, that I've kind of lost it a little bit, is like however I was feeling, I would be able to try to take, because I think I'm a little too, maybe I've gotten more stable in myself, but I think I used to be maybe like too erratic to kind of have a set way to be, because I think I would, like, if I was feeling weird or heavy, I would want to put that into the show. That's why I kind of liked poetry, because no matter how I'm feeling in poetry, I can put it into.
Yeah, same with music. That's what's nice, is that you don't have to make them laugh.
Totally.
So you can be kind of like a whiny dude, and it's like it'll still be good.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that I used to try to, like, however I was feeling, and that was like fun because it felt good, and it felt like you're sort of there with the audience. Like, I guess the word would be present.
Yeah.
Because you can also kind of feel when people are like, and this happens with a lot of young comedians or new comedians, that they'll like do the bit like 20 times before they go on stage in the mirror.
Yeah.
And then they'll come out.
And it's weird.
And it's weird.
Self-conscious and like bro. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like they're talking.
It's like, you want to go out with me tonight? Do you want to go out with me? It's like some bad 90s movie.
Yeah, exactly. They're bombing, but they can't
click out of it.
Yeah, click out of it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just feels weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to be able to, like, kind of be in the moment with the audience while being funny, however I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Instead of like trying to go into like, all right, comedy, Justin, here we go. Even if I'm feeling like not funny.
Yeah.
Because I remember after
yeah, Chappelle feels that way to me. He feels like somebody that, like, a lot of times he like walks out slow and sits down and he's like, I'm in a chill mood and I'm just going to bring that. But I will get to the laughs.
Yeah,
but
he does do that.
He's just like, this is my energy. It can be cartoon or it can be like.
And that helps. It's Dave Chappelle, so people are there to laugh and they know
right.
him. And then he has an hour and a half or maybe 10 hours.
Yeah.
So he has all night. You should do it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like a fiance.
Yeah.
My fiance broke up with me a couple years ago. And I was doing bits about it. I wasn't doing bits about
I remember.
her.
Yeah.
But they weren't funny.
About your experience.
It was how I was feeling. None of it was funny, but it was like honest. And it was just me up there like talking about how I felt.
Yeah.
Which there wasn't really anything funny about it. But it felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like processing your
I was like processing
trauma.
I was trying
as
to find
it's happening
the funny.
on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was I don't think I did it that well. I came up with a couple good jokes maybe.
I mean, I've kind of felt that way about the flood shows, and I'm like, man, like to do I even want to get up tonight and try to like make it funny? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's that part of me. It's like, well, I haven't done a set in a week, and this is what's happening, and I gotta. Yeah, but it's like part of me is like, I don't know, maybe I just need to like experience it. You know, like when do you
Totally, exactly.
Yeah. But sometimes, I would love to see one of you guys get up and make it funny. Like, but I'm like, I don't know if I feel like doing that like this
Cody
week.
killed it at the first flood after the show.
The porch show.
Porch show.
With the Bandcamp thing.
I did the porch show.
Well, the porch show. I mean, before that.
Oh, at Amanda's show.
Yeah,
in
that was so
Greenville.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, they could see my frustration there. I think what was nice about the porch show is that, like, I was frustrated from a pretty bad week, pretty tough week, but that was nice because they felt similarly. And so, like, that was lovely to, like, get to yell, and they're like, yeah, he's yelling, or whatever. Yeah. Whereas you go down to Greenville and you're like, I'm going to yell again, and it's not on their mind anymore. They're safe in little Greenville, South Carolina, and you go, oh, I don't think I can do it tonight.
Like on the porch, you were yelling for them, but you're yelling at them.
Right. And I think I made the decision before I went up in Greenville most recently on Monday, where they had gotten over it already, where I was like, oh, I sort of know that they're not. Because I was watching the show and I was like, oh, they're here on a Monday. They're not here on a Monday because this is the only option because their city flooded.
Yeah, they're doing Whitney Houston jokes.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit about us.
Yeah. Right. So that was like not disappointing. It was still nice to be in Coffee Underground when it was packed, but like,
yeah,
you gotta. I think it's okay to. I think you'll do fine with flood material. What's your flood bit?
That's the thing is I was like, man, this is so, Blue Ridge or Charlotte. Maybe I shouldn't. That'd be a good reason. I sat down and I was like, what's my flood bit? And I was like, I don't even want to do a flood bit today. I just want to like experience it without, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the songwriting poetry thing. It's almost like I want to make like sometimes I want to make a sad song, like, and that's just not, there's a side of me that I can't bring to a comedy show.
Well, I mean, you can.
Yeah. And maybe that's my work, is to get to where I can do that, and then it still is funny in the end.
Because that's
doesn't need to be funny. I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't need, because I think that can you trust yourself to find the funny when you're on stage?
Yeah. Oh, that's huge.
Because I think like, but that's also hard in like 4 to 5 minutes. Like I think improv's usually pretty bad, and I could be a pretentious asshole when I say that. But
so is stand-up comedy.
Yeah, so is stand-up comedy.
That's true.
But like, I think it's good when the people aren't trying to be funny. They're just being in the moment, and then they might find something funny.
Yeah, that's the promise of improv. Is they're not trying to be funny. They're trying to react in an honest way to maybe like a weird situation.
Yeah,
and then that's when it is funny.
Yeah. And bad stand-up is still more fun to watch than bad improv.
Yeah,
I mean, we're all biased.
It's probably more fun to do.
Oh yeah,
it's probably more fun to do bad improv though.
Well, yeah,
that's because they don't know.
I think that depends on your personality type.
No, they take it so seriously, and if you're up there being Justin Blackburn in an improv troupe while everything's bombing and you're delighting in it,
yeah,
they don't. You've seen bad improv; they're not delighting in this going poorly.
I think they are.
They're digging in. Come on.
Do you remember?
No. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Do you remember? There was an improv group, and I'm not trying to out people.
Yeah, you could just say that it's an improv group.
Okay, there was an improv group that used to do a show.
I'm going to name them all.
They used to do a show before a show.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, they would bomb miserably.
Right.
And then afterwards, they were all hanging out, like, great job. Yeah, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
I thought they were
it kind of reminds me of the Christian.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we started this whole conversation where it's kind of like, it just doesn't quite seem real. Like, I love the lone wolf realness of, maybe I'm just romanticizing my own choices to do stand-up instead, but it's like, we all know what it is. It was good or it was bad, and you just take that on alone.
Yeah.
To me, that's cooler. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's I'd rather watch a movie about a stand-up than about an improv Christian group of supportive friends.
Yeah. Something is funny, though. I used to do this, and this wasn't like a bit. I was just trying to be nice to my friends. But sometimes it's funny when somebody bombs.
Yeah.
And you go up and you're like, great set. And they get really pissed off. They're like, get away from me.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to hear that. They want to like be in the bad energy of bombing.
Yeah.
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 I used to do that to Alexis. Remember Alexis?
Yeah.
She was great. I used to do that to her. when she would, because I thought Alexis was hilarious, but I think sometimes it wouldn't, the audience didn't think so maybe. And I would say you did great, and she would get mad at me, but it was like I thought she did because her energy was really good. Maybe the jokes didn't land, but I think having a good energy is like really important.
And that might be kind of the thing about you enjoying Cody from the get-go, where you kind of appreciate.
Cody always killed.
But you feel like the audience always laughed?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I wasn't there. That kind of.
I don't ever remember Cody bombing. Anytime he did, he would always. He's always had that ability to, when he's bombing, bring it back into. I mean, I don't. Maybe I am. I remember one time I used to stan Rory Scovel. And I remember
we all stan Rory Scovel.
And I remember,
do you not stan Rory Scovel anymore?
I don't think I stan him anymore.
Okay, cool.
It was like a very like weird infatuation with Rory that I had.
Oh,
like I thought Rory was like God. I've talked about how people.
I think he is.
Yeah,
I think he's
divine beings.
Yeah,
pure God.
I think he is.
Yeah, pure God energy. I thought that about Rory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember one time like Rory telling me that he bombed, and I was like, what? Like how? Because I just thought everything he did was perfect, and I never. So maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm doing that to Cody. But I remember, I don't ever remember him bombing, and I always remember him doing really well.
Cody?
Maybe in Chicago?
No, of course. I was just thinking about, now, these days, what you're saying is, I would always win him back. And there are times when I'm like, I had, in minute 4, I get my hooks in them. And if I got to be up there for 10 more minutes, 15 more minutes, then I'd be killing by the end. But it's an open mic in Columbia, South Carolina, and it's just I know I'm good. And in my head, in my estimation of myself, I would have had such a killer set if I got to do 20 minutes, but I only got to do 5 minutes. And these Columbia comics are like, this guy.
Yeah,
but it's not. I'm not this guy. I'm good at comedy.
Yeah,
and there are some nights when I don't get to prove it.
Because trying to squeeze it all into 5 minutes is just kind of makes it harder. Like a late night set instead of stretch your legs.
Yeah.
I think I think you do have that sort of ability to. I think you do need. I mean, I think you always do well in 5 minutes, but I think giving you more time.
Yeah,
I remember
because you're weird, so they just have to get used to you at first.
I remember
there's 5 minutes to do that, and then you can start hitting them. They bring them into your world.
Yeah, I remember one time you you were bombing at Pulp. It was a pretty packed room. It wasn't Pulp. It was music Pizza Hall or whatever.
Pizza Hall.
Pizza.
Shout out
Merriman.
Pizza Hall.
Asheville Brewing.
Ugh. Okay.
And he's bombing, and then he just somehow turns it around. He's bombing up to minute 5, whether 10 or 15 minutes, whatever he got, and then the last 5 to 10 minutes, he's just destroying the room, and everybody's laughing.
That's great because you're dying and being born again. I think
it is.
It's a better ending. I mean, that's the classic.
Yeah.
You they're not coming back from this, and then they do.
Yeah.
People love that.
And that's what I think. That's why I think Cody's such a great comedian. Being able to have that.
Yeah,
the artistry of that.
Yeah, the long arc of it instead of just desperately trying to.
Yeah, it's like
it.
watching a great film or something, or listening to a great song that takes you to all these different places.
Yeah, it's got a contour to it.
Yeah, versus
Darkest Before Dawn.
You can listen to maybe a Asheville songwriter that's talking about the air on my face. Mother Nature is holding me in place.
They love Mother
Nature,
and
it's positive. But there's maybe he's playing a kind of Jack Johnson rhythm.
Yeah, and it feels like improv. It's just too fake to be.
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. Well, it's just
not real.
It's too one dimensional.
Yeah,
and that's not really how life is.
Right. Yeah,
life is there's so much going on all the time.
Darkness and
yeah. And
suffering.
so just to have this one kind of note. It's
yeah, I like that because life is suffering a lot of the time, and not getting what you want. So seeing somebody go through those stages and then still get the big laugh at the end is kind of oh, that's kind of more like the hero's journny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there's an art into there's a wildness to it. And I think even me, I think that I kind of have to be, hey, how's everybody doing? Good energy to get laughs, which would be fun if I could take people on a journey. Of sorts. But I think that's like, I think it kind of, it jumps the border of comedy into this other place. I mean, it's still comedy, but it's adding these different elements that aren't in like, yeah.
I've enjoyed going to the Kava Bar open mic the times I've been because it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so like a bunch of weird people making weird decisions. And it's nice to like rinse yourself off after music hall.
Yeah.
It's nice to go down there and then like watch a guy do like haikus as Gollum. And that's the worst example because that sounds like something that you could see done poorly at music hall, but like there's like a lot of weird people making weird decisions down at the Kava Bar. And it's just like, oh yeah, performing comedy is tethered to the laugh, and it shouldn't have to be, I guess. It should just be a show. And so it's like nice to go down there and remind myself.
Because James is someone that like when he bombs, he kind of goes mean. Which
but he's like really good at like
James is a great comedian.
Is really good at like
James Burks. Which James were we talking about?
James Burks.
Yeah, James Burks. Shout out to James Herod too. We didn't get to see.
Yeah, he doesn't really get mean though when he's bombing.
Yeah, James doesn't ever. I've never seen James mean.
I've never seen James Bond bomb.
Yeah,
I've never seen James Bond. Skyfall.
You never seen?
I've never seen James Herod bomb.
I feel like I've seen all of his bomb at least once.
You seen Cody bomb?
Well, not Cody. Yes, I've seen Cody bomb. I mean, or just I mean,
What does he bomb?
Maybe bombing's not the right word, but I've seen like an audience it just not click. But that was probably more back when I started. I think he had a different. I don't know. And I'm seeing it through a different lens. I'm backpedaling now.
No, it's fine.
Cody
I'm
went
not
through
the
it.
one.
I should have just said you're
Cody
right. James never has bombed.
Cody went
Herod.
through a mean streak at one point in time.
Yeah.
Around when you were coming in.
And now he's trying to
He
bring
was
back
mean,
the
and I was trying to get him to I was law of attractioning him.
You were trying to teach me about the law of attraction, and I told Justin that it's horseshit, and it's
Yeah.
horseshit that he charges people to learn about it from him,
Yeah.
and it hurt his feelings.
I don't know if it hurt my
It
feelings. Did it? I remember one time I hurt. Can I tell I hurt Cody's feelings?
No, that was the same story.
Okay. But yeah, so Cody hurt my feelings.
And he hurt my feelings.
I mean, that's part of being good friends for a while is you got to hurt each other's feelings,
That's right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the set that is bad and then good. It's like if you don't hurt each other's feelings.
Yeah, like your joke. I love your joke about a relationship. You hate each other. What's that joke?
Oh yeah, like I don't think I ever made a joke out of it, but like if
No, you had a punchline. If you're
like
not,
if you don't, yeah,
me and my wife argue.
yeah,
And that's how I know we like each other.
Yeah.
That's one of your jokes.
yeah. Like if you're not ever, I don't have any punchlines for it, but yeah, the idea is like if you're not don't hate somebody, sometimes
kind of the punchline,
you don't really
right?
love them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that people bring out, stuff within you and it's contrast.
Yeah.
And it helps you like see yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, except Cody and Helen never fight. I know that.
That's right.
Yeah, because they're the most perfect couple. Yeah.
It's bad. You got to fight sometimes. It's
You
part
gotta
of
fight
it.
sometimes.
Oh, sorry.
No, but I mean, I do think like, we fought, and then on the other side of it, whatever you're.
And then one time Cody got mad at me for stealing his seashells.
One time, Justin, it was a very long trip to Charleston. We did the Charleston comedy competition. None of us won.
Yeah.
And we went to the beach, which was nice. And then I collected shells. And then I put them in my trunk. And then Justin collected shells, and he put his on my pile.
Just like right up to
And it would have been fine if like it was at the end of the drive from Charleston back to Greenville. He's just like, okay, I just gotta, and I want to leave so bad. He's just like, I just gotta get my shells, and he's like picking through the pile that is both of our shells now, trying to remember which shells are his.
I think that was mine. No,
And it's just taking so much time, and it's like, what are you doing? It's just
he wanted to spend a little more time with you.
I don't
Yeah.
know what he was doing.
Cody also on this trip, which I don't think that I really have, is that he thinks that I have a big
Justin
penis.
has a huge penis.
He saw my penis, which I don't know how.
No, just in your boxer shorts.
And then he
Justin's one of these free spirits who doesn't have swim trunks, and he just la-di-das around Foley Beach in his underwear.
That's
Yeah.
funny because this is the second time this has come up on this
why
podcast.
it's come up.
Who came up the first
That's
time?
why that
Roman. It was
Because I've told Roman.
Roman was like, I heard he's got a huge dick.
Who's the one with the big dick? Is the
and
quote
then
from
me and
the
Hillary
podcast.
was like, oh, that makes sense. That explains a lot. Like,
I don't. I wish I I don't think I do.
All right.
and I was like, are you serious? And Roman was like, oh yeah.
Cody said so.
Cody said so.
Yeah.
I think he was like, and other people, he like
Yeah.
added a little more of like a
Yeah.
lie to it.
It hasn't. I'm surprised I thought it would like maybe help me in the comedy scene with women, but I
Yeah,
don't think
but
it has.
hasn't.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
all right.
yeah, because that's a good rumor.
It's
to
a
have.
good rumor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But then
It's a
a
rumor, it's
disappointing
true.
one when it's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. But yeah, that was a fun time.
it's a fun time. Comedy
Yeah.
used to be fun.
Yeah, is it not fun anymore?
Back when everyone was mean. You liked it meaner, didn't you?
I didn't like it meaner. It weighed on me when people thought I was leading up the meanness just because I was also mean. I wouldn't say I was the head mean guy. And then I'd get like drunk.
Macon was the head mean
Then I
guy.
would get drunken Facebook messages from people like begging for my acceptance, and then it's just like I'm like, oh, they're not me, and then I would like sort of push it off on other people, and I'm like, you're too mean. I'm nice. I'm always nice, and you're too mean.
Except there was the one guy that you made quit comedy.
I made a lot of people quit comedy because I'm very mean.
Yeah, what was that
Which
guy's
guy? Oh, let's
It
not
was-
talk about him.
name? Okay,
If somebody can make you quit, you weren't really cut out for it.
yeah.
I sometimes miss Lil Lester a little bit. You guys ever miss? You ever think? Just me.
Do I miss her?
Yeah, I mean, she was kind of, very original.
I honestly don't really. I didn't really watch her enough to get that from her, but maybe she
No?
was. Yeah,
I mean, there was just so much crazy there. It
Yeah.
was just like so unhinged.
yeah.
I mean, I think she was kind of a troublemaker off the mic, and that was more her downfall.
Yeah, yeah. I think she said things that were like racist.
A little transphobic, I think,
Transphobic.
was the big issue, but
Which I do not condone.
which Ryan doesn't condone. and I don't
Transphobia.
condone, and Justin doesn't condone. But
Yeah,
do I miss Little Lester? I don't. I mean, I'm thinking about like the patients at the mental hospital, and she has sort of that same clip as them, speaking wise. And I do like that kind of patient better because it like I'm supposed to be doing like I'm supposed to have like a therapeutic rapport with all of the patients, and I'm not like a talkative guy. And so like I feel like I'm doing my job bad when I'm sitting next to another quiet patient.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's like a talkative patient, then I like sidle up to them so the nurses see me doing my job good.
You're like nodding and listening,
Right,
And,
and so-
they look at it, like check the thing,
And
like,
all
oh, he's-
all those dynamics are similar to the dynamic I would have with Little Lester, because she would like. Did she ever like?
No, but I saw her do that with you, so maybe that was why you wouldn't miss her. You
Yeah.
know? She was not coming over to me. Like I think
Right.
she
Yeah, I
probably
think-
she probably perceived you as being like more powerful in the scene, so she's like, I'm gonna go have a
Right.
relationship with
Well,
this.
she
girl.
also thought she was like one of the greats. That was sort of her.
But that's kind of the delusion we're talking about, where it's like that can almost help you out.
it can and it can't. I think. I mean, I think that is something you need to have, maybe, to kind of get yourself on. For a lot of people to get
Yeah.
on stage, you have to think you're good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're probably not at first.
Yeah, you're probably not, and you kind of think maybe your friends told you that you're good,
Yeah,
but you have to think that you're good. And
Yeah.
you have to kind of be delusional
yeah.
to start.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that thing you're talking about, where like you're like whatever 5-10 years in, 15, and you're like you're still getting better, but your awareness of where you're at is a lot more informed.
Yeah.
So you can be getting better, but feel like you're getting worse
Yes.
because you're more aware.
that you weren't as good as you thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas in the beginning, you're just like, I think I'm awesome.
Yeah, because you might get.
It's my
I
first
noticed
year, and
that,
I'm
like,
amazing.
I can think that I killed, and then go back and listen, and like, oh, I got a couple laughs.
Yeah.
But I'm like on stage, and I'm like seeing people laugh, and I'm like, oh man, I'm fucking killing.
Yeah.
You know, I think I do that. I think I've had like a delusional sense of comedic self. But yeah, I think that you're needing that to kind of care to keep going, or some people are. I think I would do it even if I sucked because I like to do it. So I do because I think I don't think I necessarily do it for the audience, or at least I didn't start that way. I feel like I started doing it for myself because I thought it was fun. So I think that I didn't really consider the audience that much. I considered what I thought was fun. So I think I would do it regardless.
Well, I think most people probably do it for themselves, but like you're saying, maybe you weren't affected.
Yeah, I wasn't.
The audience could not laugh for the whole 5 minutes.
I wasn't out there to get laughs.
And you wouldn't be like, oh, I didn't make him laugh. You'd be like, I still had fun.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I killed it in my mind. Or I said something weird. I'm good.
Did you record your first sets and go back and listen, like to see about?
Oh, I did. The first time I did stand up, I used to work at this place called Reverb, which was like a music venue, and I put on a show because I was like. I would do stand up in between introducing the bands, and I was like, oh, I should just do a show. So I did a show, and I got like the kids that would come perform to come, and I wrote like 45 minutes of jokes, and they were horrible, and I didn't get any laughs except for one joke. I had this joke that was like I wanted to like the new Ben Gibbard song, or the new Nickelback song. So I sent Ben Gibbard a message to see if he would cover it. And that got laughs. And somebody was like, that's your best joke. And I was like, no, it wasn't. I was like really mad. But I bombed and I was horrible. But afterwards, I thought that I was good and that they didn't get it. So I was like delusional from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a sense of, kind of delusional of like, they don't, maybe they don't get it kind of thing.
Yeah, you seem like someone, like to me, you start from a place of like real... just originality and weirdness and more like performance art, and then over time you figure out how to do jokes.
Yeah.
Whereas we've talked about that, how that's like you take the class and they're like, no, you need to do like setup and punch. Like you need to get a tight 5 and then you can get weird later.
Yeah.
But it seems like
I did it the opposite.
Yeah, it seems like either way is fine.
Yeah.
Like even if you do take the class and you just do like the corny jokes, maybe as long as you can still keep getting more personal and weird, maybe in the end it just takes a long time, and the goal is still to be like funny, but also your own weird self.
I think this is gonna be too mean. I think Clay Jones is doing it right.
That doesn't sound mean at all.
No, but he just like his jokes aren't very sophisticated. And I think if you start from jokes that are still jokes but not sophisticated, over time you get to like more and more complex jokes while also always permanently fulfilling like the job requirement of comedian if you get booked on a show.
Yeah.
So you just do your 7 farting jokes, Clay, and then
3 diarrhea jokes.
3 diarrhea jokes.
Well,
and then 6 years from now, it's going to be a pretty compelling 20 minutes.
Well, he did. I don't know if you were at that show. He did The Pulp.
Yeah.
This was like after Trump came into town.
Yeah.
And he was hilarious.
He's very funny.
He killed it. But they were very sophisticated jokes. He had a joke about like Trump, the guy that was in Home Alone 2. That was in town. It was like he killed. I was like, wow, this is really good. I was like blown away.
But I'm just saying,
because I
think he started with a lot of fart jokes.
Yeah, he had a lot of fart jokes,
and then
there's diarrhea and poop jokes too, though.
Don't count out his diarrhea and poop jokes. But I'm just saying, if you start as that kind of comic, sort of pretty base and unsophisticated. Let me say it again. Can I call Clay on the phone?
Yeah, call him.
Can I call him on the phone and?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I just don't want it to be mean without.
I think that's.
Clay. Like, as long as the video works, he's like, I think watches the podcast more than anyone else. He's like the most.
A lot of people watch it.
I think he watches them all the way through, and like all of them. I mean, so he's gonna hear it, either way. But he wanted to hear it while we're doing this.
I know Coble watches them.
Yeah, that's nice.
Hello,
Clay. Can you hear me?
I
Clay.
can.
I'm on Ryan Cox's podcast right now, and I'm talking about your development as a comedian.
Oh, God.
But I said that you had an incredible set at Pulp, and
Justin
you're doing
Blackburn
really.
says you had an incredible set at Pulp, and I'm not disagreeing with him.
And the jokes were very sophisticated.
But I said that you're sort of an ideal comic because you started with a lot of unsophisticated jokes, and over the next 10 years, you're always going to be able to fulfill the requirement as a comedian, but you're going to get better and better at it. And I think I'm being pretty mean right now.
I'll have to share with you the video of my first open mic set ever.
I don't want to see it. Goodbye.
He was about to go on something very long-winded.
You cut him off. Yeah.
I hope that picks up.
Yeah, that was
Do you
great.
think it'll pick up?
I think so. You held it right up, right? So I imagine if it was hooked up to that speaker, you would have heard it.
I
So
heard
I think
it.
it's in there. And
I think
can,
you did a great job.
as long as it's close, I can probably manipulate it. I can like zoom in and turn it up.
Yeah,
Pretty funny bit.
that was great. But yeah, I hear that.
He's like, that
think
reminds
that,
me of a thing. Nope, bye. Beep.
yeah, I think that made him feel good. I think Clay likes you a lot. I think all the
Oh yeah,
comedians.
Clay loves.
all the comedians love Cody.
Yeah, there's gonna be somebody that doesn't, right? It's not.
Well, I mean, he got fucking voted off the thing. So
Yeah, I got
the
voted
younger
off,
people.
So these younger people, they don't really.
I don't know who they are.
They really
I
don't.
tried to show them. I said
They have an
so much stuff.
overinflated sense of fairness where if I don't do the best, then somehow I get voted off.
Well, but you did well.
I don't think so.
That was a funny bit. It didn't hit.
I should still have to do the best after all.
Should have to
all
do the best
16 years.
to move on.
It didn't hit. It didn't hit as. It didn't. I mean, but your set was better than.
It was more interesting.
75% of the.
It was an
comedians
interesting
there.
bit.
Oh, I'm sure
You
it
know the
was.
bit?
It's always interesting.
It's a great bit.
Which bit?
It was
His
the day
bit
after 9/11, and I go, I wouldn't have done 9/11. I would have hung out with the guys up until that day, but I would have engineered my way onto the fourth plane and just sort of talked the other guys out of doing it.
He's talking about how he would hang like
I
do
would
the.
go do laser. I would do the bonfire. I would go to the bonfire, the group bonfire. I would do like the group stuff. It's nice to have friends, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
That's a great.
I
bit.
wouldn't do 9/11.
Yeah, and I think that was an audience which my bit that night was making fun of the audience for being bad, for being not bad, unsophisticated.
Yeah,
because I did this same joke.
Clay would have killed.
Yeah, Clay would have. He did kill. Oh no, he went for what? But I did the same joke 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
Because the joke was like a joke about like a joke that they would laugh at. That was like a kind of maybe I don't really remember the joke. But it was like a joke that you'd like word association joke where you like say queef and everybody's like oh. So it was like I just said that joke 4 times and they just kept laughing. So that was funny because I did say it when the set at Sharkies or Shakies or whatever. I was like, how great was I? I did the same joke 4 times. I got laughs each time. I was like going like doing like a reason why I should have not gotten voted off. And that's when that was when Alana was like, "You're scaring me." And I was like, "I should not have gotten voted off." Anyway,
Was it a pretty intense energy?
oh, it was very intense because I had gotten into like a little fight with Austin and because I came in with the intense energy. I was still in the bit.
Yeah.
And Austin was mouthing off at me, and somebody else was. So then I was like I doubled down on the energy.
I just thought it was so funny in like the disclaimer group chat when people were like explaining to you what a comedy competition was, like
Yeah.
you didn't know.
Yeah.
Where you go, well, that's the heart of the bit, where like people are earnestly going, well, sometimes you don't do so great, and I've done a lot of comedy competitions over the year, and people are like being very gentle with you, where it's like he knows what it is, he knows what he's doing.
The audio looks real good though, but yeah, it's odd.
Is that GarageBand?
It's Reaper.
Oh, sweet.
It's the one that nobody's heard of or knows about, but I love it.
You and Seth Kaufman friends?
Yeah. Yeah, he came on.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I like his music.
Yeah, his music's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a cool. I've never met him, but he's. I like his song. A couple of the songs.
Yeah, I told you about after I talked to him that week. I was like, oh, he kind of reminded me of talking to you, like the musician version of you. You should. I don't know. You guys kind of remind me of each other.
Oh, we should all do it. Me, Seth Kaufman, and Cody. Do your podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found out about him because I'm a huge My Morning Jacket fan.
Oh yeah.
And I saw that Jim James said my point of existence is to get Seth Kaufman's music to people.
Yeah, there's been a lot of like Dr. Dog guys were like that. There's been so many times where it was like, all right, well, clearly he's about to be fucking huge.
Yeah.
Because
50 Lashes. That's a great one.
Yeah. But it's weird. I mean, I don't know. I've done all these different things long enough to know that it's just like, just because somebody's that good doesn't mean they'll ever be known by the world. And
Yeah.
in a way, it's kind of cooler when they're not. You know, he's like our secret. I mean, not for him, because I wish it probably would be nice if he.
Well, same with Cody.
Could pay his, yeah, same with Cody. You guys, it'd be nice if you guys made $100,000 a year doing your amazing art like that.
Yeah.
You should.
I think Cody's special is like far better than
yeah, but there's still
95% of comedians.
Seth was even saying like that it's not lost on him. He was like, oh, I got this app on my phone. I got to go around and fix people's toilets and stuff. You know, he's not making money off his music. That it's not lost on him that maybe at the end of it all, his body of work will be a little cooler because he never got to be a celebrity or go soft. You know, like he's just doing it because he loves to do it. He's not getting these big checks.
Yeah, because the last My Morning Jacket records have sucked.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I love Jim James. I think he's incredible. But I think that I do think that the records aren't as good. But that's maybe I've changed or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's an interesting thing. But I think that I do think that you do want Seth Kaufman and Cody's to, because it's better for them and the world.
Yeah.
You want the like a McKinsey.
Yeah.
You want McKinsey to be able to do their art and be rewarded.
Yeah.
Plentifully, so they can kind of go deeper into their art.
Yeah. I mean, and that's part of like what I like about this is I know that like Cody and Seth are not the people that film themselves in their cameras. They're just not that type of person. So this will be something out there that fans can listen to them talk about their process. You know, like you're not doing this. You don't promote yourself in that shameless way.
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny too because like I can see the numbers in the two highest podcasts. Like if streamed the audio are you and Seth Kaufman. So kind of interesting too that you guys people are the most interested in hearing you guys. When all the people I've talked to, the people are most interested in hearing the two of you. So it's
Seth okay from the hurricane?
Yeah, he said he's okay. Yeah,
we should. Let's all three of us do the podcast.
Yeah, we could do that sometime.
I'll hit him up.
Let's get a bunch of people in here.
Yeah, I'll hit up. I'll hit Seth up. I think I tried to contact him once on Twitter and he didn't respond.
He's a gentle guy. He's very shy. You know, he's a very like sweet, shy guy.
Yeah, like Cody. Really sweet and shy.
I'm not sweet.
He's got that side to him.
Not sweet.
Coble was saying that he talks to you and he thinks that you don't like to hit when he talks to you.
I like Coble just fine.
But I think that is kind of a thing that like I don't get to. I think that people really do want Cody's validation in the comedy scene. I don't feel like they want my validation. Maybe I'm giving it to them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like they want my validation either.
Yeah, and that is an interesting place to be at, where like you're kind of holding this.
Yeah,
like
that doesn't sound good to me.
That's kind of like what a celebrity is.
Yeah,
right. The celebrity is the person you're like.
Yeah.
Hey, did you like? I remember.
I want you to see that I exist for this moment, so I feel like I exist.
Louis C.K. story once where he was talking about he saw Edward Norton and what's the guy that makes the roast master?
Jeff Ross.
Jeff Ross. Edward Norton and Jeff Ross were at a table, and he had a really good set. And he wanted Edward Norton to like him, so he kept like, "Hey Jeff, How you doing? And he's like, I fucking hate Jeff Ross. You know, I don't want to talk to him. And he just kind of keeps looking at Edward, and he's like, then he like leaves, and he comes back like, hey, so Jeff. And then Edward Norton's like, hey, yeah, I saw you. You were good. Okay. And like, he's like, all right. You know, that's kind of a weird place to be where your people are wanting your approval, because on one level, do you want to be ingenuine if they're not? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want to go, you're good, man, to give them this thing? Or do you want to be like, hey, because that's a weird place to be.
That's why so many people are like, I met that celebrity and he's an asshole.
Exactly.
Because, he's not, what is he supposed to do? Like, stop his whole day and validate you, like, over and over again? Like, of course he was an asshole. Like, he's like, I'm eating my fucking lunch. Why don't you fuck off?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's appropriate for him to be that way.
Yeah, 100%. And that's a weird energy to kind of have to hold onto with people.
I feel like, I don't know, like, I started comedy older, but like I don't think I ever asked for that validation, because I think the suffering and not being recognized is necessary, and it's kind of like trying to shortcut it to be like, hey, you've seen your comics, so tell me what you think of me. It's kind of like, I don't know, it seems a little like you're not kind of respecting the order of things. Like, you should be not noticed. You should be not booked.
They don't know the order of things, though.
Yeah.
And then the older comics being mean to them is how they get situated.
Yeah, I think that is kind of like a nice world where you do have people that are mean to you. The older comics, you know, I never had that because I started Greenville comedy. Actually, the comedians were mean to me.
There was no comedy in the Southeast before you.
Yeah, before me. So Nick Shaheen would book really successful, comedians that people wouldn't know, like the normal person wouldn't know. But like some of them, like he booked Trevor Noah and shit like this.
Nate Bargatze.
Yeah,
Nate Bargatze. Yeah, I did a show with Nate once. It was cool. But yeah, those people. They weren't really that nice to me because I would try to talk to them.
Yeah.
I remember doing a show with like Brendan Walsh, and I was like, he's a successful comedian. He was at one point in time, you know him. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey man, is Dylan and Kelly going to show? Because 90210. And he's like, hey man, I've heard that joke like 1,000 fucking times. And I was like, oh. I thought I was being funny.
That's nice though to be. He's talking to you like he's an equal, almost like he's being honest with you.
Yeah.
He's not being like, oh, I know.
But even back then, there was a part of me that was like, I think that was delusional. That was like, I hope one of them see me, and like me.
Oh yeah,
and they'll be like, oh, you're good. You want to go on?
Yeah, that's
tour?
rookie. Like I went through all that with
me?
music, where you're like, maybe some of these big famous people. Like I hear people say that about Austin. They're like, you never know who could be in the room. And
yeah, but
like,
but the thing is it's true. Like I remember. Caleb Sinine, he still do things. Mm-hmm. I remember people really liked Caleb back in the day, and so they would see him, like the Atlanta comedians would be like, "Oh, this guy's great," and they would take him on tour. I think that is
that happened in Atlanta a lot. I think that does happen.
I just remember Nick would book like a,
but it doesn't happen.
They would bring.
You got to do that big Florida tour with.
Oh yeah, with Duncan Trussell. Yeah, he liked me, and it was nice.
Yeah, exactly. That's a cool thing.
But I would like to say. I think, I don't know. There's something about you've had nice interactions with. Have you had nice interactions with,
like famous comedians?
The famous comedians or no?
I mean, I've had like interactions. I wouldn't call them.
I have famous comics who have rubbed me the wrong way, and there's famous comics that I really sort of thought were kind and.
What would you say? Is there a ratio? Would you say there's a lot more in one way or the other, 50-50-ish? Like,
it's not 50-50-ish. It's either I remember Nick Thune trying to bust my balls, and I was like, I don't care for this.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just my taste, and maybe somebody else would have gone. But not me. I don't know. Like Rory's always very like friendly and will do bits off stage. I remember Moshe Kasher was very nice. Duncan Trussell was very nice. But there's just like sometimes there's a lot of duds.
Joe DeRosa was really nice.
Yeah. You can tell why people are.
Nick would book him a lot. He was a great guy.
Successful.
I feel like they're almost always nice. Like in my experience, it like really is like if you are an asshole, you probably are not going to get that far. With,
Well, I
with some
remember,
exceptions.
what's the guy that did James? He was on. He did like Bernie Sanders for a while.
James Adomian.
He didn't like me at all.
Yeah.
I was trying to talk to him, and he's like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing?" I remember he didn't like me.
There's
But,
definitely the ones that'll kind of like I'll be like, oh, I like your bit, and you can tell they're just kind of looking like they're just like, oh, this fucking Southeast comedian.
But once again, like you said,
can kind of
I mean,
tell people don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to cut you off, but it's
Yeah.
like you said earlier, it's not really their job. To be
Yeah,
like, hey,
exactly.
man, you were
Yeah, that's
good.
true. Yeah.
If they are nice,
Yeah.
I think Rory is somebody that's like, because I think Rory would, when my little interactions I had with him, he would, I would be like starstruck, and I think he would feel that. This is just my interpretation of it. And then he would be funny. He'd be like, what if Ryan's shoes became a fire hose right now, Justin? And I just started spraying them at this woman over here. And she was like, ah. And he would just like always kind of like be very graceful.
He could tell you wanted it, but and he would give it to you.
I would just be starstruck.
Yeah.
And I would be like, Rory, hey. And he would be like, and he would probably be uncomfortable. Because I was like really like,
But he would still do the bit.
But he would still be
Yeah,
really
he would still
kind
give you
and
what
loving.
you.
Yeah,
He would still deliberately be like, all
be
right,
very
I'll do
sweet.
another hour.
Yeah.
I guess okay. I guess is what I mean. I guess is like when you meet the very successful ones, you can sort of tell why they're very successful off stage, and then there are like these other types who are. You haven't met a dud?
Well, I did one with the headliner a few recently, and the ones dud for me means like you're just so jaded. Where like you're the sad clown, where as soon as you get to know him, it's just like a few minutes of small talk, and then it's like, oh, fucking TikTok, and this person sucks, and that's kind of my dud is when you're like, wow, there's so much like bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me sad when you see that somebody's just so miserable.
that sucks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, somebody that's doing what they want for a living.
Yeah, but they're like, oh, and now there's all these new TikTok people, and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
So that's kind of my version of dud, and I have had a few of those, and that kind of makes me sad. And I'm like, ugh, it just feels kind of sad to just try to get to know you.
Because maybe people don't feel this about me, and that's maybe me, my blind spot. Maybe people don't like me, but there is like we have the same job, Like you should try to connect with people who have like the same job as you.
Yeah, I think so.
Sort of spiritually, we're siblings.
Yeah, that's
even
why-
if I'm
that's
not
why-
as successful or as good as you should
Totally.
Like,
That's why I felt so stabbed in the back by those fucking newer comedians who voted against me. I thought I was really nice to them all the
yeah, I
time.
thought so too.
But there's two different ideas here that are kind of like almost at odds with each other. One is like you should be nice to your coworkers, and the other is like you should. Mean is kind of like it's a meritocracy. You don't want it to be like improv where it's fake. The too supportive.
Yeah.
Too supportive is bad, right? Too
Well, I
supportive?
mean, but it's also funny to like maybe be supportive with people that suck and get them to like there was the guy that did the maybe he doesn't listen. He's not a nice guy. I don't want to say his name. He had a joke about fucking his cousin.
yeah.
And he's like, "What do you think of it?" I'm like, "Yeah, work on the cousin fucking bit." Yeah, and it's a horrible bit. It's just about him wanting to fuck his cousin.
you kind of wanted to be encouraging, so that's the one you.
I
could
wanted
think
to
of.
be encouraging to that was kind of mean of me. That was like
You deliberately encouraged a bit that you thought was not,
with all respect to that, he just started.
yeah.
All of it's bad. Right, he's
Yeah.
probably a really nice guy, and if you see, hopefully he doesn't watch this because I'm not trying to. But all of his comedy is horrible. It's bad. I mean, to me. But he has like a joke about how if you want to fuck your cousin and she's hot, that's cool. But if she's not hot, then you're just a dirty cousin fucker. And it's not funny, and it's I don't know. Maybe you can find something funny in it, but it's just weird, right? I mean, that's like a weird joke, maybe. I don't know. I don't get it. So I was like, he's like, what do you think, man? I'm like, yeah, man, keep doing it and work on that cousin fucker bit.
Because it's not good and it needs work.
Well, but it's it's a funny thing
Add
to
some
encourage.
punchlines
It's
to
funny
it.
thing to encourage.
Yeah.
If he's walking around
Yeah.
all right, I got this cousin fucker bit.
I'm going to open with that
Yeah.
every set for the next 6 months because
Yeah.
Justin said
Let's
I was
work
on
on it. There's something there. I mean, it's funny in the sense that it's absurd to think that's a good bit.
Yeah.
Right? You have to kind of be a little delusional to think that because it's an earnest bit. He's not I used to have a bit where I would say Because I also started, because I noticed in Greenville when I started, like, you could just, because I was bombed, and then I was like trying to get, because people wouldn't put me on shows. So I was like, okay, how do I get laughs? Oh, I just say a fucked up thing. So I'd have like a bit that was like, I fucked my sister, my dead sister, but it was in a dream or something.
Man,
it was
love
like,
that.
it was insane. But I was like, I knew it was a horrible joke. I think I was in on the joke. And I knew I was doing it just to get the laugh of saying something ridiculous. But it's funny to think that, like, I wrote a bit about fucking my cousin, and there's no punchline there. And it's ridiculous.
It's like a Shaggy Dog kind of thing. Like the joke is that there's not a punchline.
Yeah, there's no punchline.
People,
But I
there's
don't
the
think-
expectation for
But
it.
he thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
Like, he thinks it's a good bit
Yeah.
from my perspective. He's like, oh, there's something here. And that's a funny thing. And it's like you used to really love Bucky. Lucky Bucky.
Lucky Buck Buckley.
What was funny about Bucky is that he would say the thing that he thought you were thinking, but you weren't thinking that.
Yeah, but he knew. But you are Lucky Buck Buckley.
Yeah.
And so when it's done as a character, it's sort of
Yeah, like I used to do
profound,
I used to do
maybe?
this character that he was a redneck guy on the I might have talked about this last time. He was on the redneck comedy. He would say he was on
there's a blue collar comedy understudy.
comedy. He would say the thing that you would think you were like.
Oh yeah.
I'll say I don't care. Like Arab shit smells as bad as handicapped people shit. I'll say it. I know that's what you're thinking.
Maybe the last time the camera cut out.
But like it was insane.
Yeah.
Like I knew it was crazy, but it was like somebody that would think that, because it was during the time when people would be like, I say the thing that you're thinking that you're afraid to say.
Yeah.
So this guy would say the thing that you weren't thinking.
Yeah.
But he thought you were
Yeah, yeah.
thinking that because he thought that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of comedy. Some comedians, especially when they first start out, they think it's like really funny and that other people are thinking that.
And then they come to you and they don't know that you're Justin Blackburn. And so you're like, that's a good bit. You should keep doing that bit. And now that I say it out loud, that's a good idea, is to keep encouraging people's worst bits. And I'm going to do that from now on. Unfortunately, the only person who asks for advice is Aiden and Ben Doster.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm going to quit soon.
Yeah, but that's funny in itself, because it is, because I've done that before too, where like you have these bits, and Cody's always helped me with that by telling me they're not good at times.
Too long.
But it's like you have these bits that you think are really funny,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, this is good, and then you go and you do them, and they're like, oh, this isn't funny, and it's not good. It's like maybe funny to you.
You just mean he needs to maybe chisel out some of the filler, or you just mean abandon the whole thing? Because it's not good and too long. Or
He doesn't believe in the rule of three, which is admirable. It's good to not believe in the rules. But sometimes they're so long.
Yeah.
And I think jokes should start short and then you add to them over time. But
And I start long.
Justin comes out
Yeah.
with 10 iterations of one idea, and it's like it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Even you're very funny.
No, I come up with bad bits a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, I heard Lewis Black on a podcast recently, and he was talking about how he really needed to do, like, he was able to do the hours for his first set somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really necessary for him to have way too much and then chisel it down. And, like, kind of the opposite of what you're saying. Like, just get one thing that's funny and then add to it and snowball it.
Right. I mean, that's one idea, I guess. But
I think
like,
that works better.
But like
Yeah.
what I'm talking about with like spinning the wheels of your car in the middle of a bit that you sort of know works. That's sort of
Yeah.
trying to do a lot of stuff and then like picking out one piece that works and then
Yeah, because I mean, the shorter the better. Like, because you want to keep.
You got that laugh per minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Pace.
Joel Pace. Shout out to Joel Pace. You want to have that. You want to have it. You want to have a punchline there.
I mean, irony, laughs per minute are important, right? I mean,
To bookers.
not in this. Okay, not important.
Who?
I mean,
Well, they want to.
an audience, like
Yeah.
unbeknownst to them, like a minute passes, 2 minutes passes, and there hasn't been a good pop.
No,
Like,
you're right. That's the job is to make people laugh. But
you're kind of making fun of the notion that it's really that, like every 12 seconds, like the rule kind
Well,
of.
it's thinking about that. It's kind of like in school they teach you to learn to get good grades.
Yeah.
So then you're not actually learning anything.
Right. It's like I'm different.
You're focused on this outcome.
Yeah.
And you're like trying to make this thing happen.
Yeah.
From this place of, I would say, lack.
Yeah.
Versus like, I'm going to be funny, and if I get laughs per minute, great.
Right.
But that's not my goal.
Like
My goal is to connect and be myself and not just focus on having these like
express this idea I had, and if it takes a little longer than the guy
Yeah.
before me,
but
but the idea is better than the last guy.
Yeah.
And it's better. It's worth it.
yeah, because you're putting this pressure on yourself. It's not necessary.
Yeah, and like a laughs per minute or a grade on a report card is like this fake metric you're assigning to a thing, and it doesn't necessarily correlate all the time with like how good it is.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah, because I mean, if people are laughing, I think I had a interesting conversation with Zalata. I thought was fun, and I've felt this way. I don't know if other comedians felt this way before, but it's like sometimes jokes work, and you're kind of like, ugh, do I want to do it again? Because it's like the fact that they work is kind of like a bad thing almost, right? Like in the sense of like, can you trust that it's funny because the audience is laughing? Does that make sense? Like you're kind of like questioning because the audience. Do you want these people to laugh at what you're saying?
Well, it kind of reminds me of the thing you were saying about the Asian comedian who was doing jokes.
Yeah,
I don't know if hack could be the right word or not, but it's like just because they're laughing
Low
doesn't mean
hanging
it's
fruit.
the kind of jokes you should be doing.
Low hanging fruit, or you're selling yourself out in like a non-interesting way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
like the
I
trouble
think
with Apu or something. Like just because you're getting the laughs doesn't mean later you might not look back and be like, oh, that was not who I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Those are bad laughs.
I think there's a place for that, and maybe I shouldn't put those people down, and more respect to them. I think there's a place that people maybe do want to just go see a comedy show. They don't want to think. They don't want to think why they're laughing.
Well, that's why we need a club here. The idea is that, like there's that room for that, and then there's the weird like kava bar where it's like, hey, this is just performance art.
maybe we can
and
have
maybe there'll be some laughs too.
a club called like Hurricane Helena. And we try. I don't know, but like
I don't know. It's just like the Comedy Zone guys don't find value. I can't imagine them finding value in doing good at the kava bar.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think there's an immense value. But you can imagine these guys who like have somehow handshaked their way into being features at Comedy Zones every weekend and like do low hanging fruit and kill and like feel pretty good about themselves.
And then they probably go out and get laid and get drunk.
Maybe.
And have a great time with their friends.
Yeah.
And they're doing well.
They're doing
but
well.
At the same
but
time,
then
it's
they
like
go to the Comedy Zone and they're like, "This place fucking sucks."
yeah. Or even maybe they do an open mic somewhere, and you can kind of hear, oh, this is what they're gonna do. You know what's coming. And there's a lot of people that aren't like. That don't we do a lot of comedy shows.
Yeah, appreciate the nuance. I mean,
The
it's like
nuance.
pop country is like there's a lot of people who just love the formulaic approach.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all pop country is that, but a lot of it is. And,
but
a lot of the movies that get made, there's a big audience for that. Maybe that's always going to be the biggest audience is the more formulaic stuff.
But yeah, I think so. But I think it's fun as you're individual to like find, growing up in the South, like I laughed at things because they were racist, and then like when I was like, I'm racist, and I think that's a really great, or I'm misogynist, like kind of like, why am I laughing at this? Oh, it's because I was conditioned to laugh at this. What if I go deeper? What's there? And I think that's where the beauty of creation and art is like going past that, going to like the edge of yourself and making that funny versus like just saying the thing that's already been said before.
Yeah.
That people are just kind of like responding. It's like a fucking knee jerk reaction that you say the dun
Yeah.
and they're like,
Yeah.
And that's like
It's almost like playing covers or something. It's like, oh, Sweet Home Alabama. I know this one.
It is
I want
playing
to. I
covers,
want to hear
yeah.
songs I already know. I don't want to be like have to think harder or be challenged.
Yeah. I don't want to have to wonder if I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
People don't know why they like stuff.
Yeah.
Like for the longest time, things just came on the radio, and you just liked it. Remember, like the '90s. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
whatever would come on.
You just keep hearing it.
You would hear
and
it
then
all the time.
It'd get into your head because you just.
You would hear like "Oops, I Did It Again," which is a great song. Not putting that song down, but like you would just hear it so many times, like that you would just know it, and then you would like, oh, okay, I'll just listen to it. And I think that's a lot of art. People don't know why they like things because it's like people told them to like it, and they don't really know is it good or not, and they don't want to know. They just want to like be part of their friend group and like things. But I think we want to create like people to be individuals and kind of know why they like things and why they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot more niche now than it was growing up too. I mean, you can find any niche comedian or anything like that.
Right, but niche comedians have their like singles, right? There's
like a viral video or something like that.
No,
like,
I'm just saying, like you go in and you like watch a real classic weirdo, like Moira. I call it niche, but it's still killer.
Yeah, Moira's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moira's hilarious though.
Yeah,
no, I do mean she's hilarious.
On this.
Moira's. I don't know.
But you know what I mean? Like there
is
is like a mainstream version of what comedy is, and it's Bert Kreischer. It's whatever.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean that type of person who loves Bert Kreischer can't come down to the music hall, and still enjoy what Moira's doing. It's just that they won't seek her out again.
Yeah,
and that's sad.
Yeah,
we can't break these. I mean, for one, that's sort of a process that starts when you're 15, is like creating your identity. It's like, I like this kind of music and I like this kind of thing. And there's lots of people who just don't do that. They like the music their friends like, and then they end up 40 years old loving Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, or Tom Segura.
I think that person, though, if they saw Moira and then a few years later, they're like, oh, shit, she's on Netflix. You guys got to, I saw her at the, like, I think they probably would, but it's just like they're not going to, like, go be like, I got to find them again. Like Bert just comes on Netflix, just tells you his new one's out, But I think, like, they probably would remember more. Like that person might actually.
Yeah,
be like,
you're right.
Holy shit, she made it on Netflix. Get in here.
Yeah, but I also think that it's like I think there's more, like somebody like Bert Kreischer. I think, and maybe I'm arguing against myself when I say this, but like I think he's tapped in. He feels like your friend. Maybe he feels like the wild friend that maybe you had or that you wanted to have. That's like crazy and like drinking beers and like, but then maybe people never grow out of that. Like that's slamming beers and slamming like beer cans on his head and like fuck yeah, man.
Yeah,
empowered, creative feel from this. Like it's not like maybe a Van Morrison song.
It always has to be. I think it always has to be about you. Like every piece of art that you like because you think it's about you. You see yourself in it, or you imagine yourself hanging out with it, or you're like, oh, I could do that, or like I think that is kind of one of that's why you can't be for everybody, because like people only enjoy your art if they see themselves in it.
Yeah. Well, I actually kind of
Bert Kreischer.
I like art that I think is better than me.
Yeah, like what you aspire, but it's still probably like what you. There's something that makes you.
That's what I like about Cody. I was like, oh, Cody's better than me. I like it. Because I want to be as good as Cody.
Yeah.
Or like even like
he aspires you to the potential that you have.
Mackenzie's like, oh, she's better than me at this.
Yeah.
I like this.
But at that point, you're being an auteur. You're like, I have this very sophisticated taste. But most people are looking for
Bert,
the TV show Friends and Bert Kreischer.
Yeah. Well, because I don't think people want to think about things that deeply.
Right. And people don't have time also.
Oh
to,
yeah,
like,
the whole society's fucking everybody over.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
People
making
are like
people
raising kids.
Yeah,
They don't,
yeah.
like, but have you heard?
Yeah.
Have you heard of Mackenzie?
Yeah.
Have you heard of my friend from South Carolina?
Yeah.
She's killer.
Yeah, well, I did do that with my neighbors tonight.
I know.
You gotta listen to Cody Hughes. Maybe they did.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that I think if people, yeah, I do think it is a time thing, and it is like, do I care about this enough to like? But I think it's fun to go somewhere and like think about if I like it or not. Like I think that's part of the fun of watching something. Like, what do I think about this? Like I went and saw Joker 2 recently. Mm-hmm. Thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Did you like the first one?
I didn't like the first one.
Yeah.
I thought the first one was really bad.
Yeah.
And I went and saw the second one. I was like, oh my God, this is great. I love the ending. I don't know if y'all see Joker 2.
it.
You see the first one?
I started watching the first one and I was like, this is kind of a little, this is a little too dark for what I'm looking for today.
Yeah. Did you see the first one?
Yep.
What did you think?
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah. But I remember. But
Watching Joaquin be real like creepy, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I'm trying to.
I never really thought he was that.
He scares me.
Yeah.
For
What?
no reason.
He's great.
I don't know. I thought he was really bad in the.
He's
Johnny
like
Cash movie.
the creepy white guy, like the shooter, what we could all become. Like when white guys go creepy, it's the worst kind of creepy. You know,
That's
like,
why I didn't like the first one.
Yeah,
'cause I
Joaquin
thought it
is
was
like a little too real with that. I don't know. It's like
he was great in it, but I think that yeah. Well, I think also like Heath Ledger kind of ruined everybody on that.
Yeah,
Like he was way too good at that.
yeah.
And it made.
And then he
people-
died right after, so
Yeah,
that was
and then
crazy.
he made the guy, and that one dude it was like him and went and shot up the fucking, the movie theater. I think was his name James Burks.
Yep.
I actually think it was.
It wasn't.
What was his name? James something. Not that James Burks would do that. It was a bad joke. Sorry.
Holmes.
You guys are talking about like broad appeal. I mean, when there's broad appeal, and then there's like, Mackenzie. Or like you guys are not trying to be broad appeal.
I'd like to be the Beatles.
I was thinking of the Beatles because they were that weird intersection of like broad appeal, but also innovative. You know?
Like people love Strawberry Fields Forever.
Yeah,
which is a crazy.
But
fucking song.
the first 5 years, they were like they definitely came out of the gate with like we're ripping off Buddy Holly and Chuck Berry.
Yeah,
and it's like the jokes we're talking about, but boom, like it's Comedy Zone. But then now that we have you, we're gonna like go weirder.
Yeah, which is like one of the greatest arcs of all time.
Yeah,
because you started off
yeah.
yeah.
It's like Bob Dylan, like starting off like Woody Guthrie cover band, but then just getting fucking weirder and weirder and weirder.
Yeah, but
so you can do it that way. You can start off kind of being a Bert, or I don't know. That's not the right.
But even Bob Dylan wasn't really mainstream with the folk stuff. He was like mainstream with the folk artists.
Yeah,
but like
I think Blowing in the Wind was like big though. Like he was.
Well, I think it was the cover was big when Peter, Paul, and Mary did it.
Huh.
But like the Beatles were like 40 million people tuned in to see Ed Sullivan or whatever.
Yeah, they were more pop. Like
yeah. That's such a cool arc.
Yeah.
So I think that's another way to say maybe let people have their.
That's what I'm talking about with Clay Jones.
Yeah. Clay Jones is going to be the
ripping off
Beatles.
Buddy Holly. He's ripping off Chuck Berry,
right.
and one day he's gonna shame us all with his Strawberry Fields.
That would be amazing. But yeah, that's a good point. Let the comedians suck.
Yeah.
Whoa! I said he was unsophisticated.
Oh, okay. I just meant that in general. Let the comedians be unsophisticated.
No, but like that is the arc that people are interested in. Is that like, oh, George Carlin was a normie and then he broke out of his shell. Oh, Richard Pryor was a normie and then he broke out of his shell. But Asheville is filled with just bleeding weirdos.
Yeah. Shells broken all over the ground.
Yeah, who started with their shells broken and they're like,
somebody needs to put a fucking shell on because this is.
Yeah, that's sort of the Asheville. That's the interesting thing about Asheville is like vulnerability was like never hard for like a lot of us.
Yeah,
we all started from like a gross weird. I want to go up because I'm gross and weird.
Yeah,
I want to go up and say too much about my personal life.
Yeah.
So we already made it. We're already there.
Yeah.
We're already on the other side of the rainbow.
Yeah.
I feel like I started more with like jokes and I'm trying to get more weird. Like I'm trying to
Yeah, you're like Clay.
Trying to follow Clay Jones.
Yeah,
Trailblazer.
There was a comedian that I'll unnamed that I felt like started it around maybe Greenville or Asheville and was really funny.
Yeah.
And then tried to get weird. And then was like, why are you doing that? You're already really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also a thing. It's like,
Who was it?
huh? I'll tell you off camera.
Yeah, like who was
Because I
it?
really like the person. I'm not trying to put him down.
Because it is cool when somebody just does like classic jokes. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't go to the Comedy Zone, but when somebody just tries to do jokes at our mics, like one-liners, I kind of like that because it's like everybody's talking about their trauma and being so weird. It's kind of nice to have somebody remind us. I mean, Isaac is so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Isaac has some really good
But the
ones.
jokes, they're doing just jokes.
It's clearly jokes.
And but the short with pauses, and I think it's a really nice reminder. Just it's sort of a classic form. where it's like a setup, a punchline, a lot of pauses, tags. Like that's kind of. But it's still very weird. Kind of like McKinsey, like short jokes, but still just weird.
Yeah.
That's a nice combination.
Yeah.
It's not the long rants. Like it's not even that personal, really.
Yeah, it's not.
It's just jokes.
Yeah, I think I did that at one point in time. I think now I'm like too pretentious and I have some sort of like thing that I think I'm supposed to say. So I can't. I'd like to get back to that. That'd be fun. Because that is fun. It's fun to just go up and like
Tell jokes.
tell jokes
Yeah.
and make people laugh and have a good time.
Yeah.